we go. All right, what's up, everyone? I got a special guest with me. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, kind sir?
Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Rayz De Alba. Thanks, Mark, for having me on today. It's always fun, you know. It's awesome, man. Thanks for having me.
I think there might have been a bit of an echo. I couldn't hear an echo, but all of you watching right now, you know, while we're waiting for everyone to jump in and join us, are y'all hearing an echo, or is it clear on both ends? Let me pull up the chat. I can see it on the screen, but it's delayed quite a bit. Did you hear an echo or anything, Ray?
Yeah, I kind of heard a little bit, but maybe it was because I had my sound of the video up, so I don't know. Maybe it's that, but
yeah, that's what I thought it was with me. Holy shit, we already have 80 people in here. That's what's up. How are y'all doing? How are y'all wonderful people doing? Thank you for joining us. Make sure you go check out Ray's channel. The link is down below in the description. No echo. I see Mark is clear. All right, cool. Ray, talk for a bit. Let's make sure you're clear.
Now, man, you know, shout out to everyone in the chat who I do know and who I don't know. Again, thanks to Mark for having me on here. Shout out to everyone. And man, do you hear any echo? Let us know if this is sounding great. Now it just feels awkward.
He's like, I ran out of words.
Yeah.
Nah, everybody sounds like everybody's saying we're good. So what we're gonna be doing is you know, I'm gonna give everyone a few more minutes to join in, see if we can get you know, as many that are gonna watch us, give them time to come in and join us. But we're gonna be going over these supposed leaks. Now you can't see me right now, but I did air quotations when I said leaks because they sound like horseshit, and they most likely are. And you know, we've had quite a bit of, like, I haven't really read them too much. You know, I saw a few minutes of a video about them. Ray, have you read them, or have you seen anything about them?
I did see all of the video. I saw this guy. He made some videos on them, and I did see them all his videos, because it sounded like very entertaining fan fiction in my opinion. But yeah, I did hear them. Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, just some initial thoughts. What do you think? You think they're horse manure?
I mean, to be honest, if I am going to be completely 100% real with everyone, and I will keep it that way, I think that they are very well written, educated guesses. Like, you know that certain characters have to go through certain things down the line, and that person just made a map or how they think that all those things could happen, right? So that's what I think happened there. But yeah, man, I think they're just educated guesses. Some of them are hit and miss, you know. But I don't think that they're 100%, you know, like nothing is going to happen that's in there. But there are things that will happen because, like I said, there are things that have been foreshadowed already.
Yeah, you know, I've seen a lot of people saying that the guy that originally wrote them came out and said, yeah, it's just fan fiction, you know? So I mean, I don't know.
I would imagine. I mean, some of the things is like, like if it were to go down how some of those things were, how those things are written out in that, it would just be horrible. Like I would be like so upset if we wait 2 years, a year and a half, and then got that as like the ending to this epic story. So I'm like 99% sure that everything is fake. Like, you know, that the whole thing is fake. But I still think that we should talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we're gonna delve into them right now. Let's just go ahead and let's go ahead and kick that off. I was about to say, you know, even though people are saying that the guy came out and was like, hey, you know, it's fan fiction, I haven't seen anything of that. I haven't seen like a comment of where he said that, or, you know, rumors can spread fast, and sometimes false information will spread quicker than, you know what I mean? So, well, we'll see. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. We're gonna switch up screens on you guys. Hopefully your view just switched up, and then we have this. Now these leaks are being brought to us courtesy of the Free Folk over at the Free Folk subreddit on reddit.com. Make sure you go check them out. I will link it down below in the description. But this is from a commenter named Trude _P-2. All right, so he says, And while I'm reading this, I'm not actually going to be able to see the chat. So Ray, if you see some questions or something come up that are really good, let's try to get to those. But I'll read the first paragraph. This is the first outline, season 8, episode 1. First scene: aftermath of the Night King's attack on Castle Black. Tormund and Gendry are able to flee the scene. Undead Viserion sets crows and the undead afire. Beric Dondarrion stays behind to fight the Whites, and maybe he dies off screen, but not before killing the White Walker that killed Ed. Ed is stabbed to death by a White Walker. Tormund and Gendry ride for Winterfell. And then we see Castle Black like in the background. Now I want to go ahead and say that this actually came out before season 7 ended. So it did, you know, the first line it kind of got right. Like the Night King, and that was also written in the plot leaks. Like episode 7 had leaked a few weeks before that episode actually came out. Like supposedly HBO was hacked, and you know, it's the main reason why I like was staying away from my comment section. I don't know about you, man, but the leaks were everywhere.
People are so evil sometimes, bro. Like people legit, like for episode 6, someone legit just wrote in one of my videos, Drogon died. Just like in 2 words. And like, you know, you have to know if it's a spoiler, you have to at least read some of it. And like, it's just 2 words. So you see Drogon died. I'm like, oh man, that's it. A dragon died. And I'm like, it's a wrap. And it kind of spoiled it for me a bit, even though it wasn't Drogon that died, it was Viserion. But I mean, it was really insane. I mean, HBO really has to do something about these leaks and spoilers and mistakes that they did this season. It was really out of hand and really crazy. Like I legit was shocked with how badly they handled the season with that. But I mean, like that scene that you read, if you really look at it, since like you said, the episode had leaked, the plot leak had leaked already. They already knew that the wall was going to fall. They could predict that it was like, I just don't understand how is it that they end up in Castle Black where Ed is.
Like what is Tormund supposed to run 100 fucking plus miles like to get there, you know, before dying? Like is the Night King going to be walking that slow? I guess I don't know.
And why would he go to Castle Black? Like what is there in Castle Black that he needs? Like there's nothing there.
Exactly. He's already crossed the wall. So why? He's like, you know what? Instead of going straight down south and like ending this quickly, like, you know, maybe he thinks in his mind when he was made, the only thing protecting the realm of men is Castle Black. And maybe he realizes, maybe he thinks that's where Jon Snow went because he knows he's the Lord Commander. You know, maybe he thinks that that's where Jon went. So he has to go back there in order to kill Jon and maybe even get another dragon. You know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows? But that's just in defense of it. Honestly, it sounds a little bit silly. You know, the way that it's jumbled up, like he says that the White Walker, Beric kills the White Walker that killed Ed, and then Ed's killed. But so it kind of, that's how the other plot leaks were written. Like, I don't know, you remember the one for season 6 that it guessed a few things? Yeah. It was like, I don't know, it's kind of worded that way. It's just hard to tell. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Sorry, go ahead.
If you recall in season 6, because I remember we touched on this in season 6. You remember that there was like one that like Euron had the dragon horn, and it was like these crazy, the wall was gonna fall, and at the end of season 6, and like Littlefinger and all of them were gonna look at each other after Euron blows the horn, and it's like winter is here or something like that. Yeah, it sounds like very epic. Yeah, and I'm just like, yo, like after seeing it, I was like, they couldn't have been so far off. Like, it was so insane. I mean, don't get me wrong. The episode was better than that to me because that scene in the Sept was insane. Like, the when Cersei blew that joint up.
Yeah, dude. It was, yeah.
It was insane. It was really good. So, I think that would even, to be honest, I think that the Sept blowing up was still better than the wall falling down, in my opinion.
Whoa, dude. I don't know about that one. Let's talk about that real quick because, honestly, I enjoyed every fucking moment of that. Like, yeah, it's terrorizing that, you know, our heroes, the moment is finally, it took 67 hours, but it's finally happened. The wall is coming down. The wall that stood for hundreds of years is falling down. And that was, yeah, the Night's Watch members are protecting the realm, but honestly, it's the wall. Now that thing is down significantly, and we also got to see how OP Viserion is going to be going in the next kingdom. Now, I saw there was, like, in the very last video I did right after the season ended, will Jaime ride for House Stark? I mentioned how there were people that were still debating the fact that the Night King was more empowered for being on the back of Viserion. Like, both of them are. They enhance both of each other's energy. You know what I mean? Just like he gives the White Walkers his power, he gave Viserion his power, and Viserion, being a dragon, also, you know, is now resurrected using ice magic, so his magic has been converted from fire to ice. So it's argued that maybe it's even stronger because of that. Like, they're both over 9,000. And like, I enjoyed the CG, I enjoyed the Scepter Baylor blowing up, but dude, come on, the wall coming down, like, that was insane, bro. That was insane.
Nah, bro. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Yes, was it satisfying, the payoff of the wall? Yes, because we've been waiting for it. We all predicted it was gonna happen last season, right? But yo, the Scepter Baylor, yo, that's like the last real surprise that we've gotten since season 6, in my opinion. Because to me, there's like, ever since we've passed the books, there are only 2 things that have like left me shook. And one was the door, that episode, that whole episode. I can't even watch it. Like, that's how traumatizing it still is for me. Call it funny, call it whatever you want, but it's really traumatizing to me, that episode. And Cersei killing all of House Tyrell, her uncle, everybody. Like, because I remember everybody expected Marjorie to survive, right? And they ended up killing her off. They killed Loras, everybody. Like, to me, that was just like, so I think that, in my opinion, it has to be a little bit above the wall falling down.
I don't know. I agree with what you're saying. And honestly, losing those characters was like just crazy. You know, I wasn't the biggest fan of Loras. I wasn't the biggest fan of Marjorie. And, you know, I honestly did not like Mace at all. I actually was a few feet from him, which brings me into like someone that I want to give a quick shout out to among all of the wonderful people watching right now. But yeah, make sure you guys go check out Ray's channel. But also, Con of Thrones Part 2 is going to be coming up. And that is linked down below as well. That's going to be in Dallas, Texas in May of next year. And you know, bro, we have like 2 years, pretty much. Let's say at most 2 years until season 8 comes out. We need these things like fan-run conventions and, you know, other sort of things like me and you and all of us other Game of Thrones YouTubers that make videos to help us out through this long night. But we also need stuff like conventions, you know what I mean? So make sure y'all go check that out. But yeah, did you have anything else that you wanted to add on to this before we move on to the next little paragraph part?
Let's move on.
Okay, all right, so then the next paragraph, and once again, I want to thank all of y'all watching right now. Go ahead and slap a like on this video. Let's shoot for a like goal of 75. Can we do that? Let's see if we can hit that like goal. All right, so Daenerys, Jon, Tyrion, Davos, Jorah, Brienne, Podrick the Hound, Missandei, Varys. I'm sorry, people get pissed off the way I say this. Missandei, Varys, and Theon arrive in Winterfell. Davos remarks that he has gotten much colder. It has gotten much colder and darker since he last left with Jon when they went down the Dragonstone, I'm assuming. Jon and Arya are first reunited. Daenerys meets Sansa, and Sansa asks whether she and Jon are in love now. So this is, I guess, alluding to the fact that Sansa is supposed to, like, sense that Dany and Jon hooked up, because I doubt Dany and Jon are going to walk in arm in arm, like, fucking holding hands and, like, trotting in. Can you imagine if they did that? That would be hilarious. If anything, these things may be complete bullshit fake, but is this not fun to sit here and pretend like this is, you know what I mean? Like, this is,
no, I read them like a day after the season ended, because I was like, I need a Game of Thrones fix right now.
Exactly.
Just the thought that I had like 2 years. So I was like, whatever. It could be fan fiction, but I'm still gonna hear it. Like, I just want to see how, in some parallel dimension, this is how it played out. Even though I don't believe this is how it's gonna play out, and I totally believe the ending is gonna be totally different. Like, I have like this whole thought about it, but it's like just the thought of Sansa being like, yo, you trying to get up with my brother? Like, to me, that's so aggressive. That's so aggressive. Like, I just don't see Sansa doing that. Like,
and not even being like straightforward like that. Like, are you a thing? She's basically saying like, are you in love now? Which sounds like she said it with like a sassy tone, where she's like, oh, so you and Jon are in love now? You know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, like I see here in the chat that George Sartiano, shout out to George.
George is watching right now?
Yeah, he's here in the chat with us.
Oh,
he says that the leaks are more real than you might think. And again, that's what I agree.
I'm gonna wrench him real quick. George, you have wrench status, sir. Use it wisely, please.
What you call it? I do believe that there are things in the leaks that might be real, yes, but they might be real because they have been foreshadowed, and the person put this like link of things that are quote unquote real, which I don't believe. Like, I honestly believe they're fake. But I think that there are certain things that need to happen. Like, for example, of course, if we see the Golden Company in Westeros in this leak.
Wait a second. Is that mentioned in it? Because we haven't gotten to that yet. And I kind of feel like you just ruined episode 4 for me. This is gonna be good. So okay. So I'm not saying that these aren't fake, and I don't mean to cut you off, Ray. I'm gonna let you get right back to your point, but I just want to add in real quick that as of right now, after reading that first, I can kind of see Sansa being something like, because sisters would know. It's like women's intuition; they know certain things. So if it is not Sansa, it could be Arya. The way that it's mentioned, the way that they say, "Oh, so you and Jon are a thing now," that sounds like something Sansa would say. But go ahead.
I mean, I have. Let me see, 4 sisters. I had to think about it. Oh my god, I'm a horrible brother. Well, basically, I have 4 sisters, and I have had girlfriends, and none of my. They'd be like, "Oh, you love my brother?" Like that's like way aggressive, and specifically out of character, I think, to Sansa. Now, if Arya did that, I would be a little bit more, because she just wants to get an answer, and she could see like, do you love Jon or something, and then like just to see if Daenerys is genuine. To me, because she could tell if someone is lying. Then I think that it makes more sense towards the plot. But Sansa being like mad random, like you're in love with my brother, I just feel like it sounds funny.
Well, maybe, but see, now that you're saying that, that makes me think that Sansa's character. Okay, so she's the only one who's concerned. It seems to be, obviously Bran and Arya concerned with who sits the throne in Winterfell, so to speak. But it seems to be in Sansa's character to ask who's Jon Snow is in a relationship with, because that matters for who's obviously whoever, when they produce offspring, that's going to be the next person in line for the throne. So that seems like something that Sansa would be more concerned with than Arya. But you also have the thing that Arya and Jon are actually really close. They haven't seen each other in a while. They haven't seen each other a while in the books, but it's kind of like, so, like these things, it is written, and I guess we're going to get to a part where I'm going to be reading this thing and I'm going to be like, okay, this is complete horseshit. But as of, just reading that first part, that sounds like that kid. I don't know, man. I
mean, look, I'm not going to lie. At first when I read it, I was like, oh man, these could be real. At first when I read it. And then I had days to process it and 100% I've honestly have like a week in like some days that I already read or heard or saw this, whatever. And I am confidently telling you, I honestly believe that they're fake. Like I honestly believe it.
All
like,
right, well, maybe I'll be jumping back on your fence too. Like I said, I'd only glanced at these. I wanted to wait to do a video on them, and I honestly didn't think I would do a video on them. This is like thanks to there was 6 people in total. There was a few people on Facebook, and then a couple people on Twitter wanted me to chat on these, and also in a few comments too.
I mean, it's like you said, since you haven't heard them, you don't. But when you get towards the end, you're gonna be like, yeah, this has to be fake.
But dude, listen, that's how everyone, and that's how I was with the season 7 leaks. Like when I was doing those plot leak videos, I was like, the whole time I kept having to reiterate to myself, but mainly, to the people watching, but mainly to myself, that these take them with a grain of salt. They're likely, and dude, that shit, literally certain scenes it described to a T. You know what I mean? So it's almost like, I don't know. And I found, you remember when we were doing videos before season 6 premiered, almost 2 years ago, bro. Can you believe that? Almost 2 years ago. Once again, for everyone watching right now, I saw a few people asking earlier. This is Rayz De Alba, and his channel is linked right down below in the description. Make sure you go subscribe to his channel and check out his content. But you remember when we were doing videos before season 6 started, we were discussing the leaks. We discussed them a lot, and I was one of those people that were like, I don't know. I see Dario being like, hey, I'm the leader of the Harpy. I don't know why. I just thought it would be a cool plot twist, but I don't know. If you don't mind, I'd like to pick back up, because we only made it through the second paragraph so far. We got a lot to talk about, right? All right, so let's see. Where were we? Okay, so Sansa, yeah. So Daenerys doesn't give a proper response to Sansa asking that. Sansa doesn't seem to pleased with Jon returning to Winterfell with Daenerys, and they're all like booed up or whatever. Jon notices this and has a discussion with her. She mentions Littlefinger's death and how he has always betrayed them right under their nose. Now the plot leak doesn't mention this, but if that does happen, I imagine Jon saying something like, damn, I was hoping I would get to be the one to do that. You know what I mean? you know, John was ready to when he crept up behind him in the Crypts of Winterfell.
Yeah.
But yeah, she says it's plain stupid to work together with Cersei. Lannister, the Hound, and Arya also have a conversation with each other. Arya tells the Hound she didn't regret to leave him behind without having him killed off. The Hound answers that Arya should have killed him off right there, especially with the things he has seen beyond the wall. Now, see, that I don't think that. I think, if anything, the Hound's attitude might be he's kind of glad that he's still alive. You know what I mean? Like, he's not. Yeah. He doesn't seem like that. Sounds like something that if the Hound had regretting going to the wall, I don't think, especially since he lived, and he was basically saying that to Gendry, like, stop whinging, bro. You survived it. So I don't see the Hound doing that. But was there anything else that you from mentioning the Littlefinger's death and then the Hound and Arya, their conversation? Is there anything that you?
I mean, not really, not much. You know, I personally think that John would be like, "Oh, good," like you said, like I wish I would have done it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you got a donation here.
Oh, we got a
super chat.
Damn, I hope I haven't missed any of these. Oh shit, we got one from the boy Matt Z. Thank you, sir. And he says, will they start trying to kill the White Walkers more like they did in season 7, episode 7? The way that they kill a bunch of whites at the same time. A real war with the Night Kings. Let me reread that.
You got it?
Do you mean in episode 6? Because no one killed any White Walkers in episode 7. Like, the White Walkers attacked the wall. But basically trying to kill them, like fight them in an all-out battle plan. Honestly, yeah, I hope that's what most of the 6 episodes that we get next season. I hope like 4 of them are all just literally the whole 60 minutes or the whole 120 minutes is all just like a giant massive battle. I know that's not really realistic, but I mean, what do you think, Ray? What do you think?
I don't want that. Like, I honestly have had so much time, and we have had. It's not just mine. Game of Thrones belongs to all of us. But like,
I feel you on that though, dude. Sometimes I do think it's a show that is literally just written for me, and I cannot believe there are this many people that enjoy it. You know what I mean? I agree with you, bro.
Not like I'm like mine, but I honestly, if I'm going to keep it honest with you, I kind of wish and hope that we get like a good battle. I want the battle to live up to the hype. You know what I mean? I would like even maybe three battles, like the first 3 episodes, or like attacks, little battles, big battles, whatever, like from smaller to bigger, however you want to put it. But I want the conclusion of the story to be what happened with Westeros. Like, where would it end? Like, who survived? What is their position? Is there hope in the world? Is there, like, you know what I mean? I want all these, because yeah, we gotta wait for the book, but at this rate, George R.R. Martin is taking too long. So I need the show to give me at least some indication of what is gonna happen. So that's what I'm hoping for. Like, I want an epic battle. I want the Night King to square off against Jon Snow and all that. I want all that good stuff. But I really, really want to see Cersei's conclusion. I want to see it fit the story. Like, you know what I mean? What we've all expected. I want surprises. I want to feel good. I want to feel sad. I want to hear, you know what I mean? Like, I want it all, man. I want the world. I want the world, bro.
All right, well, look, you're saying this now, but I guarantee you when I reach back with you in a year or so and I ask you, we have one, you know, another one of these, and I'm like, I'm going to ask you that same thing, and I guarantee you're going to be like, hey, look, man, at this point, I'm just going to be happy with whatever the fuck they put on the screen. Like, just like with me, like, I want all those things too, but I feel like if I set all those expectations, I'm going to be disappointed. You know, like, I feel like that's what happened with certain people when they were watching the episode. Like, they got disappointed because you had, you know, you thought it was going to be all this epic stuff. I feel like, because kind of the opposite with you, like, I want it to be a great moment and I want to have those things, but I want it to mean something. So I don't want it to be like this crazy, you know, what you call it. But I also think that it should be one battle, but it should take place over the course of multiple episodes. So we see every single moment of that battle. And I know that's not realistic, but it would be cool if, like, let's say the last 2 episodes, right? So episode 5 and 6 of season 8, the whole time we are in one giant battle with just everyone who is willing to fight, you know, against the Night King, just fighting him all out. Honestly, with Jon squaring off against the Night King, they haven't shown us yet, but I don't really know if the Night King is any different than any other White Walker, and if he isn't when it comes in terms of fighting, and like he's just got an enhanced magical ability, which could explain why he has so many generals around him, where if he's more of like the I play this game called Elder Scrolls Online, where it's like you'll have someone who's basically called like a what is it? AoE, where they basically do an area of effect. So they're weak, they have a low health, so that means they're easy to take out, but they have the most power, like the most magic. So if the Night King is like that, and he's got all these magical powers, he can bring back the dead, and he can throw these 100-yard javelin tosses that would win him a gold medal in any Olympic game. You know, if he can do all that, he still is the same vulnerability of them. And if he is, then it wouldn't be much of a fight, because Jon just showed us, you know, in episode 6, Beyond the Wall, he took one out within literally 3 seconds of bum rushing this dude. So if it is like that, where Jon, you remember they all kept saying, like, if we can go fight him, we'll end this right now. You know what I mean? If that's the case, that's how quick it would be. I would like to see Bran fighting him. You know what I mean? Like, I would like to see Bran fighting him and I know me and Kyle actually, Azor Hype, me and him actually had a discussion where we were talking about, you know, what the White Walkers want. And we were talking about the final battle, like what would happen when the Night King's fighting. And we both agreed that it would be sick to see Bran fighting him in the Weirwood net. And then you have Jon Snow and like Daenerys leading the physical front, like killing all the whites that surround him or whatever. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like it would be cool since, and you know, sometimes, bro, like that even happened in season 7 where battles completely got cut off the screen. Like we didn't even see it. You know what I mean? Like certain sieges and stuff, like we missed that. And I would like to just have like a good 75 minutes of just pure battle, like just straight carnage. Do you think that would be awesome?
I mean, of course, battles are awesome. Every battle would be awesome.
Explosions.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't want to see it, but like, it's upsetting to me when you hear that they cut a scene with Ghost in it because of budget. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because they didn't want to CGI a wolf. Like, to me, that is insanely upsetting. Like, we haven't seen Ghost since they revived Jon Snow. It's
a good thing,
insane.
though. It's a good thing because he would have been killed.
What?
That's how I look at it. Like, yes, I want to see him on screen,
Bro.
but the fact that I know he's alive is fine with me. You know what I mean? Like
but you know what I wanted to see? And I'm gonna tell you this. I've wanted to see Jon Snow and Ghost in a battlefield.
Like, so Ghost can die? You want to see Ghost die is what you're telling me,
but he doesn't die. He's the prince that was promised his dog, man. Like, he's like Azor Ahai's dog. Azor Ahai. Like, he's his dog.
Shout out to Kyle.
Kyle. What you go? Azor Ahai. Now I have that in my head. I want to see him. Like, when you hear Robb, right? Yeah. You hear Robb Stark in battle. You hear about him being like you when you hear
like
Robb
the wind.
In the battle, like yo, he's like such a slick. Like, Grey One never died. Like, why should Ghost? Like, you know what I mean? Ghost ended up being, I think, the biggest one. No, like, he's so huge and he's like a pony. Like, he should be evasive enough to survive. And man, I don't know, man. I really wish that we could see more of like Jon, and I heard that they're even more difficult to make than the actual dragons, which is insane to me.
Well, I think it's not necessarily the CG that is difficult to make with him. It's more of like they have to fly to certain areas where it's legal to film, you know, with an animal. So I think that's more of it. It's like they have to move, any actor that's in that scene has to fly to whatever that location is where, you know, where it's legal for them to work with the animal on set within the confines of the law or whatever. So I think it's a little bit more difficult rather to do that. Honestly, I feel like, you know, if I ever saw Jon and Ghost on a battle and one of them didn't die, I would almost feel gypped, because like, dude, every time we've seen a character, like an animal rather, and it's gonna be that way with dragons, we might lose Rhaegal, and everyone thinks that, like, I think Jon Snow's gonna mount him and Daenerys is gonna mount Drogon and that they're gonna ride into battle. What if they killed Rhaegal like the first episode? Like, they're just trying to let us know, like, Dany technically only needs one fire breathing monster. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like if we don't see someone and it's left up in the air, like before they actually came out and officially confirmed it was Stannis, I was like, oh, Stannis might be alive. Shit, we didn't see him die on screen. I just feel like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not that optimistic. Like, like season 7 let me down in that aspect, man. I want to see, like, all right, cool, we got Nymeria, but like, you're gonna tell me you're gonna go search for a white beyond the wall, and you know that Ghost is able to detect this thing, and you don't at least take Ghost beyond the wall? Like, yes, probably Ghost wouldn't have fared very well, because, you know,
yeah, he would have died.
But I mean, still, like, At least he died, and we see him die. I prefer him dying than him living off screen and us never seeing him. It's the same thing. Like, I don't know. That's just me. Like, I really feel passionate about this. It makes me mad because it's like over a stupid. You know how expensive HBO is? Like, come on, man. Like, put some I mean, come on, man. Like, have you seen that horrible CGI that they put? And then, like the deleted scene from when they are about to revive Jon. It's like, I think they put Summer next to Dolores Ed. I mean, at least put that. Put a stick figure of Ghost or something, or a cartoon. I don't know. Put anything there, man, and let him say like, "Take care of Sansa for me. Take care of Winterfell," or something like. And I think that's what
Sansa mentioned him, right? Sansa mentioned him. I think in like episode 6, maybe. Yeah. She mentioned about him, but. I think the reason why is like, you know, they're doing that was like, oh, you forgot about this person, they bring him back as a surprise, and then they get killed off. So I think Ghost will be seen for sure. We're definitely going to see him before the series ends. But I think when he's brought back, it's going to be, everyone's going to be agreeing with me where he should have been left off fucking screen, and then he just shows up in the last few seconds of the last episode ever, and he's like, oh, look, you're left alive. Whoever's left alive would be like, I'll be your friend. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know.
What you gonna like? I feel that Ghost, like, since we have like this association with the direwolves and their owner, right?
Yeah,
they're the only two that are left.
Yep.
I mean, at the end of the day, we need to see these freaking direwolves. Yeah, you killed the other ones because you don't want to CGI a lot. Cool, I could understand that.
Well, no. I now that you're saying that, I think I kind of figured it out. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but you remember we saw not just Nymeria, but we saw all those other wolves too. At least 1 or 2 of them were also real. Remember? And the dog that played Ghost actually died right around that time. So what if they literally only did it because they had flown all the actors out? The dog that played Ghost died. They didn't have time to replace it, and they had already just spent all this money on filming all those other wolves and Nymeria, so they kind of ran out in that sense. You know what I mean? Because you know those battles were expensive, dude. You know what I mean?
I mean, I definitely see them as expensive. Yo, you got another super chat from MZ.
Oh shit. Thank you, sir. All right, let's read that real quick. All right, we have a super chat from the boy Zach, aka Matt, and he says, rephrase, will their plan be to use the armies to kill White Walkers specifically rather than killing just whites? Maybe Ghost parachute in to get the Night King. Like, basically they have Ghost on the back of Drogon, and Jon's like, all right, buddy, here's your stop, and he jumps off and he's like, yeah, I'm taking out the Night King. They would have to armor him in like dragonglass armor and like reinforce his fangs, like basically maybe replace some of his teeth with dragonglass teeth, like pull out. That's really graphic. I don't know how my mind just escaped me. What'd you say?
I don't know how developed the vets are, the veterinarians.
I know, right? My mind just went on a tangent there, but I like that. I like that last part. Have a Ghost jump off Drogon and just go straight for the Night King. Give him maybe like a dragonglass helmet. Like he just runs straight forward. It's got like this huge dragonglass tipped. Or maybe they could do something with his claws. I don't know. But either way, so basically he's asking, will their plan be to use the armies instead of to like just attack the whites, to attack the White Walkers specifically? I definitely think that's going to be added in to a strategy, you know, of Dany and Jon's camp. I definitely think that also, you know, since she lost the dragon, I do think that it may be brought up to the table that they should be wearing armor. Like, both of her dragons and Daenerys should be wearing armor, and I'd like to see where that takes us as far as, like, maybe making their greaves dragonglass. Like, if Jon were to punch one of them, it would be convenient. You know, with Jaime, it's going to be, that brings up a whole new interesting thing. With Jaime and his golden hand, would it not be dope to see him have, like, some sort of hook dragonglass? You know what I mean? We have Gendry. Yeah. He could definitely forge something like that. You know, we saw them take weapons north of the wall. But what do you think? Do you think that their plan is going, or their attack strategy is going to be more sort to target the White Walkers, as opposed to just you know, randomly attacking them?
I mean, I personally believe that, like, I'm of the mindset that, like, yes, they will attack the White Walkers because that's what I believe the Night King wanted them to believe. Because, like, I believe that the whole thing with the dragon was a trap. I'm not sure. I haven't seen your thoughts. Do you believe that, or do you subscribe to that? Because I don't know.
Definitely, dude. Definitely.
I 100% believe that was a trap. Like, I can't believe that people don't believe it still, that it was a trap. And isn't it like so convenient that you have this one white that isn't bonded to this White Walker there to prove, to give them,
yeah,
like,
it doesn't
exactly
make
what
sense.
they want.
And they even, you hear the actor, or not the actors, you hear them saying, like, they all mention, like, oh, it appears like, oh, we just killed that one White Walker. It looks like everyone that he turned dropped dead. Why didn't this one drop dead? We know he turned it. He was walking with him, and he was the only one for miles around. And if you'll notice, the Whites seemed to go past Jon and his buddies when they got past them and try to go and get that one that was entangled. So it's almost like the Night King knew that if Jon was successful and that he wasn't, if the Night King wasn't able to take a dragon and Jon was able to escape with all dragons until and go back down south, now the South is prepared to fight the White Walkers. They're ready to fight them. You know what I mean? They're not going to stand much of a chance at all, but at least, you know, he has less of a chance of winning. You know what I mean? So I think their whole goal was to get back the one proof that they had, which was that White Walker, or the White rather, and it just seemed, I don't know. I mean, it definitely was a setup. Like, it's just too convenient to have. And then he's all casual. Everyone was saying that he brought enough spears to take 3 dragons, but no, each one of the White Walkers carries a spear with him. It just so happened that there were 4 with him. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, with the way I look at this is, you saw with the accuracy that dude, the Night King, hit that dragon. You saw that arm that he had. Yo,
yeah,
he
worked.
Throwing rocks. Yo, those Whites could have been just hurtling rocks at Jon Snow and all of them one day, all day long, and they would have killed Jon Snow.
Exactly.
There is no reason why just wait. And then, like, I did a video on it, right? And in my video, I'm like, yo, we've seen that temperature drops when the White Walkers are around, right?
Yeah.
Like, it gets extremely cold, and in the books as well. Why is this lake taking so long to freeze over?
Exactly.
Like, go ahead.
I was about to say, we've seen him do it before. You know, like, you remember when you had mentioned in that theory that you had that that's how he was going to take down the wall? He was going to use his earth bending, like his ice bending, basically. He could have walked up to the fucking lake and refroze it right then and there. You know what I mean? Like, easily, it just refroze the whole damn thing, and they could have marched on him. Like,
another thing to me that is crazy is, it's like he allowed them to see what he wanted them to see. They can't swim, or so he believes. But how the hell did they get the chains on the thing? You know what I mean?
What?
So, how did they get the chains on the dragon if they can't swim? At least that means that they must be moving in the bottom. And in the books, we hear that there's things in the water at Hardhome, right? So, like, they're being fed false information. Like, the White Walkers, I believe, could swim. They could, and if not, they may not be able to swim, but they could probably walk under the water. Like,
the White Walkers, yeah, that's what I was about to say. I believe the
White Walkers, but I mean the Whites even. I believe the Whites could do it as well, because how did they get the chains onto Drogon? I mean, onto Viserion.
Well, I was thinking that either one of 2 options. He either had the White Walkers, like, not the Whites, the White Walkers go down there and do it, because we see that they're, you know, they're of at least more so of a natural, like, not state of decay. You know what I mean? They don't have arms missing and big holes in them and stuff. They seem to be solid whole creatures. So if anything, they could dive down there, attach the chain, swim back up, and they just have the Whites pull them out of the water. That's one way. Another way could be that the chains, because we know that there are multiple ships that are kept at Eastwatch, like you were saying in the books, like they keep several ships out there. Those ships could have been left, or those chains could have been left, and they actually mentioned this in the behind the episode. They said that there were chains that were left from ships previously being there. So maybe he could have pulled the chains up to a certain point, and then the Whites went and grabbed them and pulled them the rest of the way out of the water. And, like, the chain just naturally was underneath Viserion when he went underneath the lake. So all they did was pull him up. The chains were already wrapped around his neck. You know what I mean? So there was very little work. Honestly, I didn't even, I questioned that, but not really. I assumed that he just conjured him from ice magic, dude. Like, I was like, he straight up probably just pulled them out of nowhere. We haven't seen the span of his power, so he probably just, like, conjured them. You know what I mean? I don't know.
MZ did another donation. He said, can the Night King see into the dragon's mind in real time?
Do you mean, like, see through the dragon? I would imagine so. Like, you know how Bran can look through the crows, kind of like that way. Like, he can definitely see through the eyes of his White Walkers, because that's how he knew to show up, and he can see somewhat of. I would imagine he can see somewhat of what Bran can see, you know, since he marked him, and he seemed to know right when Bran gets near him. Like, whenever Bran wargs him, he always forces him out. So, I definitely think that if there were a scenario in which he maybe let Viserion fly ahead, and, like, just to fly ahead to look at Daenerys and what she's got going on, maybe he would definitely be able to see through him because he's ultimately warging him. You know what I mean? He's added him to his hive mind.
I mean, like, you know, not to hinder on, not to keep on much on this, so we can move on on the leaks, but on the quote unquote leaks. But I really believe that there is a twist that the Night King has set up leads everybody to fail. Like, there is something that we like, cause like Jon Snow, Euron, and all of them, they have this false security that they can't swim. I honestly believe that they could go underwater. Like, because if they're not drowning, why can't they go underwater? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what prevents them from going underwater? But then again, that's a whole other topic for another day. If you want, we can move on.
No, yeah, I definitely. This is. I mean, yeah, I do kind of want to move to the next paragraph, but I definitely, if you have some time towards the end, we'll definitely touch back on probably some of our favorite moments from season 7 and maybe take some questions from the chat. But I also want to have you back on, you know, to do a more formal discussion on season 7 since we have 2 years to discuss it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
We're gonna have some filming leaks coming out pretty soon. You know, we're gonna get some aerial footage of the drones. There was actually something released earlier on Watchers on the Wall and also winterscoming.net. I think both of those are linked down below in the description. If not, go and check them out. Those are the awesome spoiler websites that are going to be delivering all of our information in the off season for Game of Thrones, and then us YouTubers will make videos out of that. So make sure you go check those out and read the articles directly if you want to. Ray, I'm not sure what your policy is on the leaks. Are you going to be making videos on those, like when they I don't like to call those leaks, even though they are, but they're not really, like, you know, like they're filming like, outside. Oh, no. I mean, because they're filming outside and like it's public, so like the people are walking around. Like, obviously they want to keep it private, but I don't know. I feel like we need those at you know, to get us through, especially with 2 years. But yeah, are you going to be making videos on those? Or?
I mean, they are part of like the Game of Thrones ecosystem, right? It's like you watch some of them, but like last year, what I did was little things, little details, little flirt things that, you know, Watchers on the Wall and all of them did, I would do videos on. But like if I saw like it said major meeting or something, I'm like, hell no, not looking at it. And then eventually somebody would still spoil me. But yeah, like, you know what I mean? I would avoid some things, but I try not to see too much. Like Daenerys meeting Jon Snow video, I saw that. Really? Yeah, last season. I knew they were going to meet up because
I bet you that sucks. I didn't see that until I intentionally seeked it out. Like, obviously I had read it and through the plot leak that they, you know, the whole season ends with them having sex on a boat headed north. But that was I did not know about the boat sex. No. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was, you didn't see that was trending on YouTube for like a week before the show started, because like all the
people putting that in my chat, but I just
didn't get it.
Like I was like, but they were on the boat. They didn't have sex. Like, because there was like a very well photoshopped image of Daenerys and Jon Snow like in the bed. I was like, this is either a picture or this is very well photoshopped. Yeah. And I just assumed it was very well photoshopped because Jon was all beat up and now you see them do anything. So I was like, all right, whatever, you know, it's not much, you know, but I don't know, man. I was a bit shocked that they actually got to
yeah, that was a thing. So, but yeah, no, I didn't actually see any of that, any of the pictures of them filming on set. Like, you know, there was an image of Jon Snow holding Drogon's prop head, and I was like, oh yeah, because like right after the first episode premiered of season 7, Kit was doing an interview in which he was like, you know, there were some scenes that were intentionally filmed just to throw people off, and some of those pictures that are out there are fake. So I immediately jumped to, oh yeah, that picture of him holding the fucking dragon head is likely fake as shit. Nope, that happened. You know what I mean? Like, he totally was like,
that picture is fake because that's not the scene where it happened.
No, that's not. It didn't happen exactly like that. No, but he was filmed touching a dragon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, yeah. You could. It was basically foreshadowed that yes, he was going to see a dragon. But that wasn't the scene.
Yeah, it
you know
was.
What I mean? Like, it was on the hill.
Well, yeah, but no, I mean, not even that. It's just the fact that he comes in that close with Dragon. Like, we all knew that he was going to meet Daenerys. Like, we knew that was going to happen. The whole series has been leading up to that, and you know, very even more clear in the novels. But it's just, you know, it's kind of like a little bit. You didn't know how Jon was going to react to the dragons, but then when you saw that picture, you're like, is he going to be that close with him? And yeah, he pretty much is. Like, he was able to touch Drogon. You know what I mean? I don't even know if, like, with Tyrion, it was different. I don't know if Tyrion would have touched Viserion and Rhaegal when he let them out, had it not have been for them being like trapped in a cage, so they needed something from Tyrion. Jon Snow was initially like caught off guard, but then he stood his guard and he was like, you know, he was holding back fear for sure. I know some people got pissed with me when I said that Jon Snow was afraid in those moments or whatever. And they were like, he was clearly,
his eyes looked teary-eyed.
Yeah,
like,
dude, exactly. And I said that, I saw that, and you know, people got fucking pissed. They were pissed in my comment section. They were like, dude, you're an idiot. Jon's standing his ground. Can you not see that? You shouldn't review this show. I was like, dude, he may be standing his ground, but he's terrified. Like literally, he has fear.
You should see my Sansa video, my recent one. Oh my god, yo! Like I should never speak of Sansa again. Like like that's how crazy it was. It has been like there's just certain characters that have a very strong fandom, I believe. So you know, it's
the whole
territory.
Dude, Game of Thrones as a whole. If you say something about a character that you know is a popular character that people are going to disagree with, they're going to let you know. They're going to let you know in that comment section, and they're going to let you know by disliking. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like the whole genre as a whole, like Game of Thrones, like any kind of content you make, you have to think about what you're going to say. You know what I mean? Not necessarily all the time, but when it comes to someone like Sansa, like, come on, bro, we know firsthand. Like, I mean, like firsthand.
Like people honestly believe that I hate Sansa, and I wouldn't go as far as to say I hate Sansa. I am annoyed by Sansa, and
but she's not by any means one of your favorite characters, right?
No, before she was. Now she's not so much, and it's for this reason. She reminds me of Catelyn Tully, her mom, and she reminds me of Cersei. Now I like Cersei more than I like Cat, right? But she reminds me of the worst evil traits of Cersei, or like the bad side, like. You know what I mean? There's certain things that she just, to me, like she picked up from bad characters, and she's her mom, a younger version of her mom. So like it just really got crazy. You know what I mean? So like for example, the thing is, like you said, since all these characters, like for example, we love Arya, we love Sansa. Now when the show puts them against each other, and you choose one or you talk ill about one of them, it comes across like you're automatically like, you know, hating on one character or on another or whatever, and people get all defensive about it. But I'm telling you, like, I was shocked to see how many people like are like, yo, I legit have never seen the wrath of the Sansa lovers.
Oh man, dude, you should. I have this. I was doing this panel at Con of Thrones about Arya, and it was with the editor-in-chief of Watchers on the Wall. She was moderating the panel, and it was about Arya, right? So we were talking briefly. You know, that's the thing with these panels. I kind of wish we had a little bit more time. They were only 50 minutes, so we kind of didn't. And with 6 or 7 of us up there, we didn't get to, you know, really delve into the character. So I hope maybe the panels get to be a little bit longer next year if I get to take part in those. But she's a huge Arya fan, and they were trying to argue the point of whether Arya is a psychopath running around you know, chopping people up and then feeding them to their parents. And my point was she's crazy. She's fucking batshit insane. And if it was anyone other than Arya, we wouldn't say that. Or like, you know, if it was anyone other than Arya, there would be no disagreement on the fact that they're insane. But the fact that, you know, she liked that character, she was like hesitating. She was like, no, I don't necessarily I wouldn't call her a psychopath. And then she was like saying she's been through a lot. And I'm like, yes, I do agree with that. But come on, in the real world, no matter what you've been through, if you killed someone, chopped them up, and then fed them to their parents on some South Park Cartman type shit, you are going to be deemed a psychopath. Like there's a sociopath, something, one of those, you know.
She's psychotic. No,
yeah,
like,
dude, exactly.
Like legit. But the thing is, look at the difference between, this is my point of view on Sansa and Arya, right? Sansa and Arya are two characters that, for example, they are so different, but they are supposed to be on the same side, right? So when you look at why Sansa does what she does, it's because Sansa has suffered through a lot of things. You know, you have to understand that when you see her character, that she's been through so many things and gone through so many things that this has kind of made her.
Ray, keep it going for a second. I think I just heard someone walking in my house and literally no one is home right now. So I'm about to go stab someone the fuck up. Keep it going. I'll be back.
All right. Hopefully there is nobody at Mark's house. Probably it's a ghost. I'm not sure if it's a ghost in Mark's house, but Yeah, that's a little bit odd. Let's see what happens with. But again, the thing is, Sansa does. It seems like sometimes Sansa does everything for self. Like it seems like what Arya is doing by threatening Sansa is because she loves Jon and she wants to protect Jon, in my opinion. But what Sansa does, it just seems like she wants to become more powerful to protect herself and her position. So that's the way I've always seen the Sansa thing. It's not like I hate Sansa, because I don't. But did we hear anything in Mark's house? I'm like, Mark's getting robbed. I don't know. I don't think so, MZ. I don't think that's happening.
All right, it's all good. It's all good.
Yo, what'd you call it?
It was my cat.
MZ said Mark getting robbed.
Yeah, it was my cat pushing up against the door, and he's so big. Dude, he weighs 17 pounds, but he's so big, he sounds like a person moving on the doorknob. So I was like, what?
Is it Sir Pounce still?
His name is Ryder, but I call him Kitty.
No, but I mean, is this the same cat that when you had when?
Yeah, and I have a kitten now too.
Remember when someone made a YouTube chat? Yeah, I do remember that. So yeah, that's actually part of the reason why I stopped putting my cat. That's why I stopped putting him in so many of my videos. That, and he always like tries to scale the chroma key whenever I have the green screen set up. But yeah, basically someone had went and watched one of our live streams that we were doing with that group, and they photoshopped a picture of my cat out of that, and then used that as a thumbnail, and then went and commented on every single video I had. Every single video I had, which was like, at that point it was only like 60 videos, but they commented on every single one saying something different. And yeah, I don't know, it was kind of weird. I felt like a member of my family had their privacy invaded. You know what I mean? Like, I just caught me off guard. I was like, what the hell? But yeah, all of the cats are kicked out of the room kind of while I do these live streams. What were you gonna say? I want to answer this question from Inga. I'm not gonna even attempt to say the last name, sorry, because I will butcher the hell out of your last name. But Inga has a question, and Inga says, don't you think that Sansa also wanted to protect Jon Snow? And I do think that because again, like, one thing that upsets me about the whole Jon and Sansa dynamic is that people say that Jon doesn't give her credit, but in season 6, Jon tells her what? He says, we wouldn't have won the battle if the army of the Vale wouldn't have come. He gave her credit there. When he says, I'm leaving, and I'm leaving the north to you, you have it while I'm gone, he gives her, like, you know what I mean? That power. He's giving her credit. He's saying, like, basically, I trust you. You know what you got to do. So Jon Snow does give her credit. I just feel that if it came down to Sansa, her or all her siblings, I think that Sansa will choose herself over all her siblings. Whereas I think that Jon Snow would die for his sister and his brother.
I don't know about that.
You don't think that Jon would die for his siblings?
I mean, yeah, Jon, yeah, but I don't know about Sansa. I don't know about her picking herself. I mean, you said that she would pick herself over all her siblings. I don't know if I agree with that.
You don't think she would pick herself over her siblings?
Maybe
she would die for her siblings?
Dude, maybe season 6 Sansa, and maybe Sir Hunt's from 2016. But new Sir Hunt's in the reinstilled faith that Sansa has given me this past season, I disagree with that. She kept saying the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. So with that being reiterated into her mind, I think she would sacrifice herself so that the lone wolf would die, but ultimately the Starks would survive. So if given that chance, I think that Sansa would sacrifice her. Honestly, I think all of them would, except for Bran, arguably, because Bran is dead, and that's, you know, that's Blood Raven, that's the three-eyed raven in his body. So. But,
that's what you think on that? Like, before we continue, Aaron gave you a donation right there, bro. Shout out to Aaron.
Oh, shit. Thank you, Miss Aaron. And she says, thank you for that super chat. And she says, show the Game of Thrones support. Hit the like button. Love to Mark and Rayz. Oh, well, thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Aaron, for the support on my channel as well. And, you know, she's great, man.
Hell yeah. Aaron's awesome. She's a real big supporter here in the community. Thank you so much for that. So we're gonna, okay, so we've been doing this for like 54 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and blow through these last few paragraphs. We'll discuss, you know, we'll try to discuss each paragraph as we go by it, and then we will just take questions for like the last 20 to 30 minutes.
All right, cool.
All right, cool. So we were on the third paragraph. Oh yeah, so wow, we have a bit of it left to go. So yeah, let's go through this. I'll read 2 of them and then we'll kind of discuss a little bit from there. All right, but yeah, so Euron Greyjoy arrives back in King's Landing with the Golden Company, meets up with Cersei Lannister. The commanders of the Golden Company are in the throne room. Cersei takes Euron for having sellsword ship. Cersei thanks Euron. See, I said take, and I'm like, oh shit, Euron's about to get captured. Cersei thanks Euron for having the sellsword ship to King's Landing, the Golden Company. Then Cersei orders the commander-in-chief to take Storm's End and to have the army gathered in the fortress. Robert Baratheon once told her that that fortress had stood for many centuries, and she's sure it will keep standing during the long night as well. Since there's no Baratheon holding the castle any longer, it wouldn't be too difficult to just take it themselves. They'll need to protect themselves during the Great War. Later that night, Euron Greyjoy is about to have sex with Cersei. What? Euron jokes that she won't miss her brother once she finds out what he can give her. Cersei's face says enough. She isn't too pleased with Euron in her bed. Possible nudity to be seen. Well, it would be a body double because Lena Headey does not. She has a no nudity clause. The following morning, Euron leaves with his ships. He probably got some sort of boner during that moment. Remember how he got the crowd boner and then he got the dragon boner? Season 7. Euron leaves with his ship, the Silence, to ferry the sellswords to Storm End to take the fortress. After he comes back, he tells Cersei he wants to be her king. Inside the Silence, Euron has a conversation with Yara Greyjoy about Queen Cersei. Yara point blank tells him that she knows he isn't interested in being... Yeah, see, I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure Yara is missing her tongue. Yara has joined the mute. And I also don't think... I kind of see Cersei taking Storm's End. I'd like to see that brought back into the play just in case there is a battle, and then that can be given to Gendry. He's definitely full on Baratheon. You saw his Warhammer, dude. You saw that Baratheon sigil on that. And then also, I don't know if Cersei would immediately send the troops away after she got them. I think if something like this similarly goes down. I know Dany destroyed most of her troops, but we also know that some of them had made it back because the gold had to be, shuttled to the Red Keep. So I think with those troops and then any of those bannermen that she were talking to along with Mace, if any of their troops are left, all of the High Lords that are in King's Landing and the surrounding areas, what are they called? I was about to say the Summerlands, but the Crown's lands, all of those.
The Reach.
Yeah, well, any houses in the Reach, maybe, and in the Crown lands, she could probably get those rallied up. So I think she would probably send them before she sent her new troops. I think she's gonna want to keep. Well, I mean, maybe she's moving on. I don't know. All right, so yeah, did you have anything you wanted to say on that real quick before we go to the next?
Do I think that Euron will be making his move? Yes, I think he'll try to make his move. Do I believe that the Golden Company will come? I really was hesitant about it, but the more I thought about it, I do think that the Golden Company will get to Westeros. But what I don't believe is about Storm's End. I just don't think that they're going to invest that much time into Storm's End. Like, I just don't see that happening for some reason.
Yeah, it's like, each of these episodes, and this is actually confirmed. This was through Paula Fairfield. She's the sound designer, which I don't know if I've told you, but I actually got to meet her and I got to party with her in this after party at, once again, Crown of Thrones. I keep plugging it. It's probably because I want to see all of y'all that are watching right now. I want to see all of y'all there. Dude, it was crazy. I had 6 people ask me for an autograph. I have never in my life ever. Would you not believe that? Like, it was crazy. But that's not the reason. I don't want you guys to come there so you can all ask for my autograph and I can walk around with like a crowd of 150 people like we're all some Jake Paulers or some shit. But no, I'm just saying it's a lot of fun, and you get to meet not only other Game of Thrones YouTubers but also people that are just excited about the content that you are. Like, just as excited about Game of Thrones that you are. You know what I mean? And that's rare. Like, I don't have anyone really that is this excited that I know. Like, I have friends that watch the show, but none of them, you know what I mean, are as excited as like other Game of Thrones YouTubers and just other people that, interact with this fandom. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I went on a date with this girl, and I was like, I was talking Game of Thrones, and she wasn't really, giving me that vibe. I was like, can't do it. Like, I was like, sorry, yeah.
That's a deal breaker. Now, see,
I was like, you're cute, but no, thank you. You got to watch Game of Thrones.
I'll see if I had started watching the show when I started watching my girl, I might have been like that. But it's not really her thing. She likes she's a nurse, so she likes documentaries and anything that has to do with like the medical field. Like, she watches some crazy stuff, like people that are born with like all these different types of disorders and illnesses. She likes documentaries like that, and I can watch those sometimes, but I'd much rather live in like fantasy land and then like Marvel and DC universe. You know what I mean? Like that's my cup of tea. So I feel like sci-fi fantasy is my thing, and hers is more like, you know, she watches, like, I think she watched like Grey's Anatomy or something. She likes that show Nurse Jackie, but you know, it's kind of like I can't really put that as an ultimatum. I've forced her to try to watch it. She just can't do it. She's like, it's too much talking. I was like, that is setting you up for the next scene. Just listen.
Yo, no, it's insane trying to. But yo, MZ donated another super chat. He wants to know, can you mail him an autograph?
What?
What? He's like, what? Like shocked. Like what?
Matt, aka Zach, you are crazy, bro. How would I mail? You want me to sign a piece of paper and send it to you? For sure. I will definitely do that. Definitely. Send me a message. DM me your address, and I will gladly send you an autograph. I actually, that brings us up, and we're gonna fly through these last couple of paragraphs so we can start answering questions in the chat. I feel like I've been neglecting the questions because I did see a couple really good ones. But no, I had mentioned, I tweeted the other day, which if you haven't, follow me on Twitter. You'll get you know, like new updates every time I'm thinking about doing a different type of content, or just like if I'm in the process of making a video, or if I'm asking you all questions to add into the video, anything like that. You know, it's awesome to try to, I was trying to figure out a way that I could give back, like make my 30,000 subscriber giveaway, make it more personable. And I had actually found this video where people literally would just make like these little, they would take these glass marbles and they would make like these cool looking like eyes with them using like fingernail polish and a scalpel. And you basically just make this like what looks to be like an eye of Sauron. So I was gonna do something like that and then make it as my emblem. And then I was also, of course, thinking about doing some t-shirts. And you remember when I first started messing around with Photoshop back when like before season 6 started, you remember how I took all of our heads and photoshopped them onto like knights' bodies? You remember that? Yeah, I did that with for mine. I used the Dracula Untold armor. Remember, I had used that, and then I had made that, and I wanted to use that as like a design for a t-shirt. But I was trying to look for ways to give back to y'all. So, you know, if anybody's watching this right now, or if you're watching it later on, comment down below and let me know if you guys would be down for like some handmade memorabilia. You know, like t-shirts is one thing, but I feel like everybody does t-shirts. I feel like it would be cool if I'm not a very good drawer, but I could of course attempt to sketch something. I've actually been talking. I've been talking with a few people that are patrons that want to donate some art for me to do for a giveaway. So that's we got some of that coming too. But let's go ahead and if you didn't have anything else you want to say, let's go ahead and blow through these last few paragraphs of the S8 plot leak, if you want to even call it that. Do you have anything you want to add?
Follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, did you want to, you know, like plug your handle real quick or something?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Rayz Alba, RayzAlba, Rayz Alba. I'll be posting funny stuff there, and you know, my thoughts and whatnot, all that good stuff. And subscribe to my channel if anything, you know. But let's get back to these leaks. You know, let's knock these down. It gets more interesting towards the end. Yeah,
this next one starts off with my favorite character. Daenerys, Jon Snow, Sansa, Tyrion, Davos, Missandei, Sam... Oh, look, I said it. Missandei. Sam, Varys, and the Northern Lords of the Night's Vale. The Knights of the Vale gather in the Great Hall of Winterfell. Sweet Robin and Jan Royce. Jan Royce was in every scene in Winterfell. Like, he's definitely got the upgrade status. He was actually at Crown of Thrones, too. Pretty cool, dude. Sam reunites with Jon, and the two share a hug. Jon tells Sam he's glad to have him back. The Northern Lords aren't too pleased to accept Daenerys as their queen. Daenerys defends herself very well, but she doesn't get the support of the North just yet. Lyanna Mormont tells Daenerys that she will never call her your grace because she only knows one king whose name is Jon Snow, the king in the north. I can totally imagine her saying that, but the thing is, but
that's the thing, it's so blatant that you could imagine it. Like,
exactly. That's so, I mean, that's like, just how Lyanna is, dude. Like, she will tell you straight up. Like, remember, she called Jon out when Jon first left. She's like, no, our king in the north should stay in the north. You know what I mean? So yeah, I could see her saying that, definitely, because we know like, Dany's going to be showing up at Winterfell. You know what I mean? And we know Lyanna's there, so.
Like, I legit could see her saying something like that, but that's why, to me, it's just, like, so obvious that this, like, I could have told you before season 7 started that the North would not be willing to accept Daenerys as their leader. Like, you know what I mean? So
exactly.
That's, like, one of those things that I'm just, like, very, like, I don't buy into it. That's one of those, like, hard I don't believe it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and no, that's what we're doing here. It's like certain things like that lead you into believe like, yeah, it's just good speculation. But also, you know, when you look at it as a whole, we can't just sit here and say, yeah, it's all complete bullshit. Because I think we found at least 2 or 3 things that are potentially going to happen. So the whole thing as a whole isn't bullshit. It's bullshit in the sense that it's fan fiction and it was written by someone. But parts of it are true. You know what I mean? Like, parts of it aren't necessarily like, oh, this person has seen a leaked script. But no, that's the general direction the show's going. So they will be proven to be true. But the thing as a whole can't be debunked and saying it's complete bullshit. It can when you look at it surface level because it's not an actual leaked script or leaked synopsis of the season. We know that. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
Like later on when Drogon and Rhaegar have to fight Viserion. You're going to tell me that's not real? Of course it's real.
Once again, you spoiled an episode for me, sir. I haven't read that part yet, Ray.
But you're going to tell me you didn't think that it was going to happen? I know you're joking.
I mean, no, definitely. I did. I actually did a video called How to Kill Your Dragon. Once again, plugging myself. Link down below in the description. But it's a wordplay on the movie How to Train Your Dragon, where basically I had to talk about different ways Daenerys was going to kill her dragons. And I mentioned one of those ways I believe could be obviously using Drogon and Rhaegal to take out Viserion. And then another way that I mentioned is by using a weirwood arrow with a dragonglass tip. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I definitely knew that was going to happen. So yeah, like we could say that, like, you know, maybe not the way that it's described in this, but you know that obviously the dragon is going to be the only thing that can kill another dragon. You know what I mean?
Like, those are just things that you just have to, like, expect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that would be gut-wrenching. It would be bittersweet. It's like, yeah, Dany and Jon are going to win, but they ultimately lose all their dragons in the process, just like all the Targaryens before them. You know what I mean? It's like the dragons have been gone for like 100 years, and then they come back, and they're gone again. So I could see that. You know, maybe Jon or Daenerys, one of them dies, or both of them die, and their kid sits the throne. All right, let's bum rush through these last few. All right, so Lyanna Mormont tells, and then Tyrion smiles and mentions that she's a ferocious little girl, and Jorah replies that Mormonts don't stand back for anything, except for when they're supposed to be beheaded, and then they sail to Essos. Like, what are you talking about, Jorah?
Except when they commit a crime.
Exactly. Like, how about you shut out? How about, except for when you send crows to Robbie B. about yours truly, your lady, your woman, Daenerys. So yeah, anyway, Jon tells them there's no time to argue and with each other, and brings up that there hasn't been word of the Lannister army yet. Sansa responds that she warned them not to trust Cersei. Okay, so Jon telling them that there's a bigger picture, definitely gonna happen. Sansa being "I told you so," definitely gonna happen. She's probably gonna interject with Jon Snow multiple times, and I honestly, I can't wait to see now that Jon's there and Sansa gave Arya this speech like, yeah, I'm all about Jon. You know, Sansa's not gonna hold back. We're gonna have 3 women that are potentially like infatuated with Jon, and then you're gonna have the one woman, Sansa, who's like still gonna give him shit for everything. Like, dude, she's gonna be like, no, you idiot, I told you should listen to me, don't trust the Lannister. But anyway, Tyrion mentions that they can trust his brother Jaime, but Daenerys doesn't seem to agree with this one. The group discusses how they will defend the North against the Night King's army. Jon Snow tells Robin that it's wise to bring the Eyrie into the fold and to lure the Night King in there. Robin doesn't seem to care and accepts Jon's proposal. After the meeting, Daenerys tells Jon that the Northerners are really stubborn and small-minded people. I can see Dany telling Jon that, definitely in private. She's not gonna just like openly.
Yeah, she's not gonna say that in front of
exactly.
In front of him.
I don't know if Robin is gonna be there. I don't even know if he'll be brought back up unless it's like at the very end and like he's one of the ones that like he
Robin
doesn't even.
Is not leaving the Vale.
Exactly. Like, why? How did he all of a sudden? Why is he going to Winterfell? I guess Sansa could have sent for him.
He's useless.
In like why is it not bringing up the fact that his father, his uncle Peter, is dead? Like, he's gonna be curious about that. He's gonna be like, hey, why the fuck? Why is everyone? Where's Uncle Peter? Like, are they gonna lie to him? You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Be like, he dead.
Yeah, and Tyrion sticking up for Jaime, saying that he can trust. That's definitely going to be a thing. And Daenerys denying that it's definitely going to be a thing too, because she saw Jaime run for her full steam ahead. So I think, you know, that could definitely go down. Like, obviously Cersei's army is not going to show up. We saw what Cersei plans on doing. Now the real question is when Jaime shows up, is he going to take the rest of the Lannister soldiers like back at Casterly Rock? You know what I mean? Like, is he going to take the rest of the people that were loyal to the Lannisters up north? He's obviously not. He didn't take that army that was in King's Landing, but who's to say he's not going to go and try to rally some more houses behind his cause? Like, what if he's the one? What if he goes to River Run and gets Edmure? I had so many. I had hundreds of comments of people saying, "What about Edmure? What happened to Edmure?" I'm like, honestly, exactly. I'm like, honestly, I don't really care. Like, not to sound like a joke or
Edmure
whatever, but huh?
Edmure is just one person, and everybody's like hung up on that. But
yeah,
like I just don't see certain things. Like, one thing that really pissed me off is, yeah, all right, you killed the whole Dornish storyline, but Dorne has a full army, man. Like, what the? All right, and they probably might not be the best in the north, but you have to use that. Like, if you don't bring that into the story, which they won't at this point, because we saw that the army of the dead is already past the wall. Like, I don't know. It's just like such a weird thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. All right. So let's see. We have Theon Greyjoy visiting the Godswood of Winterfell, which doesn't make sense. This don't make sense. Exactly. Yeah, because he went to go get Yara. So this next paragraph is probably completely bogus, because that wasn't known that Theon was fighting the dude, you know, and he's like, okay, I want to go rescue Yara, and he has Jon Snow's blessing. But anyway, and thinks of his friend Robb and meets with Bran. He immediately apologizes to Bran for everything he has done against House Stark. Bran tells him there's no need for that. He knows that Theon has redeemed himself by saving his sister Sansa, which is definitely... Bran's been doing that, I know what you did last summer, to every single person he meets. And he's probably going to do it with Jon right after he goes, Daenerys is your aunt. I know that you slept with her.
It was beautiful. Like the meme. Have you seen the meme?
Yes, I have.
I saw it with your aunt. It was beautiful.
It's from this website I'm on right now, the Reddit Free Folk. It's literally, the meme is from the reddit.com/freefolk.
Yeah, I don't even know how to freaking use Reddit. I probably should learn, because I know that there's a lot of people in the community there, but I've never... Yeah, like, I don't understand it.
I stayed off the Free Folk Reddit because it's like they straight spoilers in every post. So I stayed off of it. But as soon as season 7 ended, I was like, fuck yes, I can finally go and see all these delicious memes.
I don't know what you call it. But like you said, the whole Theon thing doesn't make sense, because he said he was going after
to go rescue Yara. Yeah.
So to me, it's just a matter of fact. Does Theon know that Euron is going to Essos? Because Euron said he was going back to the Iron Islands. So for all we know, Theon might end up going to the Iron Islands instead and not find any resistance there, and might take back Pike or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely think that's going to be his first move. Like, he definitely sailed back to Winterfell with Jon and Dany, or maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't, because we all saw they were still on Dragonstone, and we kind of don't know if he got on that boat with them. I don't know. If that's the case, then maybe this happens before he leaves to go try to rescue her. Or maybe he tried, but he realized that Euron wasn't there or something. Maybe he saw that Euron's fleet wasn't outside. Because, you know, Euron obviously is going to take Yara with him to go get the Golden Company, you know? So maybe he tried to go back and spy in King's Landing and saw that his fleet wasn't there, so he immediately assumed Yara wasn't there. I don't know. There's a million different ways you can talk out, you know, the holes in this thing. But all right, so we still have a few paragraphs left. Let's go ahead and do this. He has seen you know, that how much he has suffered at the hands of Ramsay. Theon asks him how he knows all this, but Bran doesn't respond to that, which again sounds like Bran. Or Three-Eyed Raven.
He doesn't sound like Bran, to be honest.
I mean, he's cold, so that's what that means.
No, but for him to be like, "Oh, I forgive you," I don't believe that he would say he would forgive him. I believe he'd say that doesn't matter. Like, yeah, I would believe he would be like, that doesn't matter.
Exactly. Not necessarily that he forgives him, but more so that, you know, there's a bigger picture here. You know what I mean? And I can see him being cold to, like, not respond and say it's because I'm the Three-Eyed Raven. He barely explained it to Sansa. Like, he just says, I know things. I've seen things. You know what I mean? He doesn't go into in-depth detail like, hey, I met this guy under a tree who had been sending me these dreams. I went north of the wall. I found the dude in the cave. You know what I mean? He doesn't go into detail like that. So I can totally see the other part. But anyway, Arya and Brienne are training, and Jon is impressed by his sister's fighting skills, so that's definitely going to happen. Arya and Brienne are likely going to continue to train until we get to see them in battle. You know what I mean? Arya mentions that he has never forgotten to stick her enemies that she has never forgotten to stick her enemies with a pointy end. He asks Arya why she didn't join the meeting in the Great Hall of Winterfell. Arya answers that Sansa's way better in those things than she is. Now, see, I can see that happening too, because they came together. They realized that the things that the other one is missing, like what Sansa doesn't have, Arya has, and what Arya doesn't have, Sansa has. So I can kind of see that line. I'll get your thoughts on that in a second. Let me just blow through this next paragraph. In Volantis, Lady Melisandre enters the Red Temple. She is again welcomed by Kinvara. So I actually thought that that's what Mel was going to be doing. She said she was going to Volantis, and I thought she was either going to go get more troops for Dany, like maybe bring the Second Sons into play, or going to go get more Red Priests. And actually, Kyle has a really good theory about how he's going to see the Red Priestesses running around resurrecting people. Not just Kyle. I've seen a few people comment that too, but Kyle was one of the first people I've seen to say that. But there's a theory that Melisandre is going to be bringing all of those Red Priests into the fray. But anyway, Melisandre tells Kinvara that she's played her part in the Great War to come. She has united ice and fire. She has served King Jon Snow, the prince who was promised, and brought him back to life. Kinvara tells Melisandre that she served their god well on that part, but she also has made a lot of mistakes that she needs to pay for. Kinvara tells Melisandre that their gods demand one more sacrifice, of which Melisandre requires her to return to the north. Melisandre answers that she isn't allowed to enter the north. Kinvara smiles and answers Melisandre that she could benefit from her punishment then. What the fuck does that mean?
All right, so we're talking now?
Yeah.
All right, so I have two things. One, the Melisandre thing. The Melisandre thing, you could tell that this is bogus, this right here, because the Melisandre thing, it doesn't take into account the scene with Varys. That Varys says that, that she will, when she tells Varys that they'll both die in Westeros. So Melisandre knows that she will have to come back to Westeros at some point and die. So that's one. Yeah. That's one. And then two, the scene where Arya is training, to me, I don't think it's going to be true. I don't think it's going to be real. But I would like it to see like Jon Snow and maybe like Daenerys standing where Ned stood with their mom. And not like to say that Daenerys is their stepmom or that Jon Snow is Ned, but just like, to show like, or to give Arya that like family vibe, like that, her father once did. I think that would be a dope scene, even though I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, those are my two thoughts on those scenes that you put out there. Yeah,
I agree with what you said there. I want to comment, but I want to, we got to get through it.
I have a bunch of questions here. Like the questions, we will answer them. I've been writing them down, and we'll get to them. So,
all right, cool. All right, so these are the last two paragraphs. We see Jaime Lannister at an inn where he meets up with Bronn. Jaime's surprised to see Bronn and asks him why he followed him. Now, see, I don't see that. I see Bronn showing up before Jaime gets to Winterfell, like almost right after. If it picks up right where each person left off, and we pick up with Jaime, and Jaime's still riding north, I think Bronn is going to show him, like, Bronn is going to be right outside the gates, like, meeting up with him. Or, it'd be interesting to see if Bronn is willing to betray both of the Lannisters that are actually worth a damn for Cersei, because he knows that maybe Cersei fully deliver, like, she gave him the castle that he wanted, and the wife that he wanted. So, I don't know. I mean, they do. Lannisters always pay their debts, but they always also ask a lot of him. So what if Cersei's like, look, you do this, and look, I already gave you this castle. I'm going to give it to you first, and then you do it. So maybe he's only loyal to his gold, and he says that a lot. He's only loyal to his bank or whatever. But anyway, let's see. Jaime is glad to have Bronn next to his side. Bronn asks Jaime why he left the woman he loves the most, but Jaime doesn't fully respond to his question. He then asks why he's planning. See, now it just goes into these last two little paragraphs that are describing particular scenes, and that's where it completely loses me. Like, it's like he failed to try to get the bigger picture of the season and focused on little minuscule scenes that almost mean nothing. Like, there's no depth behind them. There's certain little things that could be like, oh, that would be an impactful moment, but hopefully this is not at all. You know what I mean? How these scenes go down, like if we do get these scenes, because they're kind of lame. Like, duh, like obviously they would be thinking that, and sometimes the questions that are most obvious to us aren't even asked. They aren't even addressed on the show. You know what I mean? So it's definitely like, I see what you're talking about. You were saying like, wait till you get towards the end. Like, yeah, like, nah. Anyway, Jaime tells Bronn he's on his way to Riverrun to bring the Garrison Lannister army back into the fold. Holy shit, that is literally what I had just predicted Jaime doing. That's funny. That's funny. That is fucking funny. Remember I had mentioned like Jaime could go. We don't know if Jaime's gonna go straight north. Remember he could go get another army, and then I had mentioned that he might go and get Edmure.
When you said that earlier, I was gonna say something, but then I was like, just let me wait for it to come out, and then you see it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now the part I did read of this was like the first paragraph, and then a little bit of the next paragraph, and I was like, that kind of sounds, a little bit. When you only read that much of it, you're like, okay, I can kind of see that. You know what I mean? But nah, that's another thing. The reason why I probably said that is because that's also what a lot of other people are thinking. He's riding north. He's going to pass through the Riverlands on the way north. Why would he not stop by Edmure and get someone who's related to these Starks? You know what I mean? To help kind of smooth things over. So yeah. But anyway, Bronn asks him why he would give up the castle he has been occupying. Oh, so Bronn has been occupying Riverrun? Jaime answers what purpose that would have. What does he have to gain with it? Before he kills, Edmure can have Riverrun back. Oh, so Bronn was arguing his point of why would Edmure give up the castle. Anyway, Tormund and Gendry arrive in Winterfell. Why is Gendry with Tormund?
Because apparently he was at Eastwatch or something. I don't know, man.
No, see, like that's complete bullshit. I think they meant to say Beric. You know what I mean? But Beric, they had already said Beric died. So yeah, this is fucking bogus. Like, I didn't think we were going to just straight up bash these leaks, but these last couple of paragraphs, it's really making it hard for me to not just straight bash them. That is complete bullshit. So somehow Gendry ran all the way back to where Tormund was at Eastwatch. He could run. Yeah, apparently him and the Night King are fucking Olympians that we don't even know about. There's the Winter Games rather, the Winter Olympics. I didn't think javelin toss was a winter sport. And I didn't think jogging or running was either, so yeah. Anyway, Tormund and Gendry arrive in Winterfell, somehow. Jon Snow asks Sansa why Bran didn't take the time to join the meeting in the Great Hall. See, well, why the fuck is Jon worried about why no one was at this damn great meeting in the hall? Like, he already asked Arya that. Anyway, Sansa tells Jon Bran has changed a lot, and he calls himself the Three-Eyed Raven now. She basically tells Jon Bran's a hipster now, and he's not Bran anymore. He's Bran done. Like, nah. She tells him not to expect too much of the conversation with him. Samwell comes in between and tells Jon there's something he and Bran urgently needs to tell him. Hey, bro, you kind of banged your aunt. Bran. I hope that it's Bran and Sam that tell Jon this, because like we know that's gonna happen. And I honestly hope that it's like after they've settled in a little bit, maybe they hook up another time. And then Bran tells him the next morning, and he's like, hey, look, dude, there's something we gotta talk about. Like, what if he doesn't immediately tell him,
What you call it? Like, Bran does not seem like the most suitable person to be telling anybody that they had sex with their aunt. Like, that's just like levels of awkward and wrong all over. Like, I just don't think, I mean, you could be talking about pie and Bran will make it weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's not really, I don't really know if it's in Bran's nature to be that cold towards Jon, because we saw how much he was opening up with Sam. Like, maybe he only was like that with Sam because Sam had knowledge that he wasn't aware of. Real quick, I see that we have 161 likes and 200 people watching right now. Let's see if we can hit 200 likes on this video. We got six dislikes, so that means we only pissed off 6 people. Let's piss off more by adding some more likes on this. Go ahead and push that up and see if we can't get to 200 likes right now. But yeah, so reading the last little part of this, Jon mentions that he has encountered a warg beyond the wall. Okay, wait, no, I skipped a few lines. Samwell comes in between and tells Jon there's something he and Bran urgently need to tell him. Bran first sees Jon in the God's Wood when he's looking into the past. Jon mentions that he has encountered a warg beyond the wall. Sam responds that Bran is much more than a warg. He's a greenseer. The two inform Jon Snow about his parentage, which Jon doesn't seem to believe at first sight. Bran tells Jon he knows everything about him. He saw him beyond the wall, surrounded by the free folk. I saw you banging your aunts on the ship. I saw you get stabbed to death. Like, it doesn't say these lines, but I'm just saying, like, it's so gonna happen, because that's just how Bran has been telling everyone. He's like, I saw you, with Sansa, he's like, I saw you that night in Winterfell, your hair looked really pretty. That white dress was gorgeous. You know what I mean? Like that's just how Bran tells him. So he's gonna be. I can see that happening. As he said, he saw him fighting at Hardhome against the Night King. He saw how he was stabbed to death by his own man. Jon can't really believe he's a Targaryen. Sam mentioned he's the one with the right claim on the Iron Throne, not Daenerys, but Aegon Targaryen. Now, is there any more to this? There might be, but that's enough right now. So, you know, initial thoughts after reading those last few paragraphs. This is complete bogus bullshit nonsense with a capital CNBST. I think I got that right. But yeah, like, come on, man, come on. Those last few paragraphs. What?
It'll sound more real when
a year from now.
We get. No, yeah. No, it'll sound more real like towards maybe like the next 2, I guess, episodes, if you want to call it, and then it'll just go off the rails. Like, again, to me, it'll be like, yeah, Game of Thrones. There's not a chance in hell that Game of Thrones ends like that, because if it does, it's just like I don't know. It's just like meh. It's like that. So that's it. That's how we're gonna go. That's where we're gonna go with this. Like, to me, it was just meh. Whatever. You know, it is what it is. But there's just like one scene that I think would be dope if it happened that I would want to see. You know what I mean? I don't think we've read it. I'm not sure if it's in the first episode. I think it's. Oh,
was that only for the first episode, dude?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay, so all of the little parts that I might have, the little heads. No, this is complete. There's no way. An hour and 20 minutes crams all of that into it. So that really does mean that this person thought Gendry was going to be at Eastwatch. It's like for some reason Gendry was going to stay behind at Eastwatch.
I think what? I think that it is one episode, because I know that there's a scene in one of the other leak further in
about Drogon fighting. Yeah, see, so there is more.
No, but I mean about Daenerys and Jon in the crypts. Like, I think that's like the second one or something like that. So if you see that around there somewhere, that means that we probably might be in the second one already. But I don't know. It's just like a weird. You know what I mean? Like, it's just structurally weird. It throws me off. Like, I really don't believe them. Like, I really don't.
Yeah, there's
like I said, there's certain things that I really do believe that they're like really good educated guesses, and they're just things that need to happen in the upcoming season. Remember, Melisandre told Arya that they'll meet again. You know that they're gonna meet eventually.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And another thing is the pacing is off, because I don't even think Jon and Dany are gonna get to Winterfell the first episode. Like, we're gonna see them, but they might just be on the boat. Like, they literally might just be on a boat, and then we see them arriving to Winterfell episode 2. Because you saw, at the beginning of this season 7, they did one major episode per episode, one major event per episode, until we got to episode 4, and then it was like, bam, bam, bam. You know what I mean? 4, 6, and 7. 4, 5, 6, and 7. Those last 4 episodes were crazy. They did multiple major events in each episode. Jon Snow's name reveal, the wall coming down, boat sex. You know what I mean? That was huge. Yeah. And that was just one episode. Like, Jon Snow going beyond the wall, killing a dragon, raising a dragon. You know what I mean? Jon and Dany, like, admitting to each other. Like, it's just, yeah.
To me, there is one thing that is really telling that I wanted to make a video about this, but to me, it's like very telling. Is remember that George R. R. Martin wanted to do movies to end the story. So the structure of this,
I'm on George's page with that one. I want movies too.
Like at this rate. Like, you have to think, how would they have structured a movie that he feels that it should have been done by like movie? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, maybe it is like one episode is talking, the other one is like climax. One episode is talking, the conclusion is the second one, and then like the Iron Throne, Battle for the Iron Throne is the last one or something like that. But I honestly think that because I heard somewhere along the lines that, you know, there might be like feature length episodes, like they might be like movie length.
Yeah, no, they will be. Like, you remember early 2000s in the 90s, feature length movies were an hour and 20 minutes, and that's what I was getting at. Paula Fairfield actually mentioned she was doing like this basically group interview at Con of Thrones, where it was like all of the people that had press passes were asking her questions, and a few of them, and actually Kyle has it on video. If I'm not mistaken, Kyle has like video of this. But basically, Yeah, she was asked that question, and she was like, at this point, we think each episode is going to be around an hour and 20 minutes. So that's almost somewhat confirmed, so that's like from a first-hand source. So yeah, I mean, I could imagine that's where they're going to go with it. Each episode, we had, I think, 2 episodes that were longer than any other episode in the whole series. You know what I mean? This season. So.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think that we could have had three good seasons out of season 7, 8, and 9. I think we could have had a 9th season. Well,
yeah, but then I feel like it would have, dude, we wouldn't have seen that until 2022. Like, seriously, we're not going to see the last season maybe until 2019. So if you can imagine if they had stretched that out, if we didn't get the conclusion, we would literally be watching Game of Thrones from the time we're in our mid-20s until we're mid-30s. Like, it's like, dude, that's crazy. Actually, I was 21 when it first came out, but, I didn't start watching till season 4, so.
That's funny. Me too. I started watching season 4. The first episode I ever saw was when Joffrey died.
Yep. And I think that's what caught it. It was like that was when the nudity was like at its peak. The dragons were getting bigger. It was like that's when every single person I worked with I was a server at Chili's, and there was like 3 or 4 of them. They all were always talking about the damn show, and I was like, all right, I gotta check this out. And then I tried watching it, and I was like, too much talking. Boo. Like, I literally was like, I can't do this. And then my buddy messaged me and was like, hey man, I saw you tried to watch Game of Thrones, and he explained, like, look man, there's dragons. Because what I did was I thought if I skipped a few seasons, like because they were boring or whatever, to me at least, and this was years before I ever even made a YouTube channel, and even longer before I even started picking up the books and listening to the POV chapters. So I was completely misinformed. But I'm like, let me skip season 1 and 2, go to season 3 where shit starts to get real. Nope. And that's why I couldn't watch it at first, because I had no idea what was going on. And even if you watch it, dude, you still have no idea what's going on until you go and either read the books or watch the Game of Thrones videos on YouTube. You know what I mean? So it's yeah, and that's how it was. And then finally it was like, he explained, it was like, look, dude, there's dragons, there's zombies, and there's boobs, all rolled into one. And also, there's also battle scenes. I was like, I like 300, I like Gladiator, let's do this. And then, ever since then, it's just been a wrap. But can you imagine if it was like you had said, if they had stretched it into a season 9, dude, we would not have seen it. Like, the world would have likely been blown up before we see, you know what I mean? Like, with North Korea.
I honestly feel that they could have gotten Viserion.
I agree. The material definitely is there.
I think that there was enough material and they could have stretched it out and played it out so that they would have had at least 2 full seasons, at least 10 episodes in season 7 and season 8. But I mean, we could all go on a rant for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, here's the thing though. If I don't bash the show at all on my channel. And I explained to you earlier when me and you were chatting before we did this, the reason being is because there's a lot of videos on YouTube that do bash the show. And if you want to watch those, it's not hard to find. So I try to go out of my way to like, yeah, if there's something completely ridiculous, like how in the season 7, in the last episode, I was like, God, the incest was so heavy because it was just announced. Like, of course I knew they were aunt and nephew, but it was just so heavy because Bran was like, oh yeah, his name is Aegon Targaryen and he's banging his aunt. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was so heavy. And I was like,
the funny thing about it was like, they're like, he was never a bastard. And he's just like on top and he's like, and then he stops.
Exactly.
And he's like, he's the heir to the Iron Throne. And then he starts again. I'm like, bro, what the hell? Why you gotta film it like this?
And because of that, I made a point to say in my live stream and in my episode breakdown, I was like, look, the incest was heavy. It was heavy this episode, and it bothered me a little bit. I'll critique it like that. But if you're looking for me to just straight up bash the show because it's like bad writing or whatever, even though it's bad for Game of Thrones, and like I said, I just told you this earlier, remember, it's because I mean, even if it's the worst, it's still Game of Thrones, so it's the best TV ever. You know what I mean? So even though it may be mediocre for them, it's still the best ever. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but I feel like if what you were saying, if they did, there's definitely enough material there to do it. But then people would have been complaining all of season 8 that it is just stretching it out, like they did in season 5, because they ran out of source material, so they had to kind of go their own, completely separate different ways. You know what I'm saying?
And they kind of missed out on a lot of things like the Blackfires, Fagon, and the whole Dorne story.
And you know what? They might have left Fagon out because we all call him Fagon. That's his nickname. He's a Blackfire. He's a false dragon. You know what I mean? So that's why they decided to cut him. They would have been like, that would have been a whole other character that would have been conflicting with all the. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like that choice, that I get more pissed off that they left out like Lady Stoneheart, because she could have been in there. There's literally, like, I understand Michelle Fairley had filming conflicts. I think is why they initially didn't put her in there. Like the actress, you know, Michelle Fairley had some sort of issue, but then they still had the chance to bring her back and they didn't. Like, I have issues with that, like leaving out little characters that would be easy for them to bring in, but major ones, like I would have liked to have seen Fagon on screen, but it would have been even more hard to follow as just like an average show watcher if you have some other major character who conflicts with what Daenerys is saying. You know what I mean? Because he has more of a claim. So then you have, not only does everybody and their mama want the damn throne on the show, but now you have this whole other character who could potentially be fake. You know what I mean? And then they would have had to explain so much more back history and stuff for the show to make Aegon, to make us, you know, in the books, it's obvious because George can write 3 pages describing why it's suspicious of Aegon's claim. In the show, that would have taken 10 episodes throughout the whole series. That would have probably been 10 separate episodes that mainly would have had to focus on Aegon and the Blackfire's background. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't have just casually brought him in. Like, that's why I think choices like that were made. But other than that, you know, honestly, I think that would have been the biggest complaint if we were to get like 9 seasons, is people would. And honestly, I'm kind of glad. Like, I would have want more Game of Thrones, but I'm kind of glad that it's coming to an end, because that means it's going to be that much more epic. Like, The Walking Dead's biggest problem is that show is still on. Like, it should have ended last season. They're stretching it out to nothing. Like, it's terrible. It's just, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but yo, we have some questions here. You wanted to take some questions, or?
Hell yeah. I didn't.
All
sorry, right. You know me, dude. I got on a tangent there.
All right. So we have a question from Alexandria, and I'm not gonna say the last name because I probably butcher it as well. And her question is: did you read the theory on Unilad about the Night King's motive being to have the Children of the Forest undo the magic and essentially make him human again?
No, I haven't read that theory. I'm not really sure who. What did you say, Unilad? Is that like another YouTuber or something?
I have no idea. That's what I think. That's how I think you read it. I think that's like one of those Facebook pages.
Oh.
I think I've seen that somewhere, but I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, it's like an English. It's like an English magazine
so.
or something. Okay, so yeah, no, I haven't read that theory. But honestly, I don't know if I agree with it, because that wouldn't make much sense since they killed all the Children of the Forest. They had the chance to save them, and they just bum rushed the hell out of them. You know what I mean?
They're just pissed.
Yeah. So I don't know how much weight that carries, but I'd have to read it to really give it a guess. But just from the way you're describing it, it doesn't hold much weight, because that they had multiple chances to take the Children of the Forest. You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right. And we have one from Andrew Davids, and he says, How will living target White Walkers, Scorpions, Dragonglass tipped arrows? I have no idea. Like, there's like a part of that missing, I think. Because it says, how will living target White Walkers, Scorpions, Dragonglass tipped arrows? ?
Oh, how will the living target like the White Walkers and the White Dragon, the White Flyer, as I like to call it?
That might be the question, yeah.
Yeah, it could just be, Dragonglass tipped Scorpion bolts, or Weirwood shafted Dragonglass tipped Scorpion bolts. I know that was a tongue twister there. But yeah, so I definitely think Dragonglass will be used. I would like to see them come up with, it's basically like these things they used to use back in the days of the pirates. It would be like a blunderbuss bomb or some shit. They basically have like
I thought about that too. Like,
yeah, dude, they like filled shards. Like Euron. If Euron, I honestly think Euron may betray Cersei, right? And I mentioned this in my Will Jaime Ride for House Stark on shameless plug number 27 in this episode of So with that being said, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that the episode of this formatical podcast, we will be covering other content other than Game of Thrones, but coming up, I'm going to be having lots of guests. Of course, I'm going to have Rayz back on, and I will have more Game of Thrones YouTubers coming on as well. But the name of this series is called With That Being Said. But yeah, so no, I think that Euron may betray Cersei because of the way that he was looking at Daenerys, and if that's the case, he may go and try to help fight Daenerys, and I can see him coming up with, you know, those little cannonballs that are filled with, you know, like you were saying, like those little bombs that are basically filled with like scrapnel, like back in the pirate days, they would fill them with like nails and shit like that, so when they blew up, it would get glass and all that stuff. So I could see them, it would be cool if they poured like dragonglass shards inside one of those and a little bit of black powder, you know, and maybe threw it.
Boom, like basically, just explode them.
Exactly, because we saw the Children of the Forest using something like that.
You know, I used to do something stupid like that when I was younger. I did this thing. Me and my friends, we were idiots when I was like a teenager. We would put firecrackers into like glass beer bottles, and then we would just run and blow up the bottles. And what happened one day was like we lit a firecracker that had like a very short fuse, and it blew up, bro. My friend's face was just like a cat jumped on him or something. It was like he looked horrible, man. So the moral of the story: don't mess with firecrackers and glass bottles. All right, so we have another question, and it comes from D. Mitchell, and it says, do you think what we saw at the end of season 7 was a vision of what is to come with the wall from Bran rather than it actually happening? I ask because we saw Bran before we saw the Night King at the wall. That's an interesting question.
I'll let you take that one because I feel like I've done the last two. Sorry.
Let's see. So I personally believe that it would make more sense for it to be like that, D, because if you really look at it, Daenerys is on her way to Winterfell and Jon Snow. They're basically not set up at all, right? If, like, let's say, for example, that already happened, the living are screwed because there is nothing to stop the Night King from just running to Winterfell and just picking off castle by castle. We already saw that basically in episode 1 of season 6. They tell us which castles are going to get hit first: Eastwatch, the Last Hearth, and which one's Carhold? Carhold, was it?
Yeah.
So those 3 spots are going to get hit first. So we know that for a fact. But since we did see it through Bran, maybe it was a vision. Maybe it was the crows, because we do see the ravens, right? So it's not like we just see the vision. It's like we see the ravens. I do think that it actually already happened. But yeah, I definitely think that it would be better if it were like you said.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to. I don't even want to really guess at that because I feel like it would get me thinking down a whole nother thing. Like there's this video that I was working on yesterday, but I'd never finished it because my cat, like the kitten, was fucking with me, and he's adorable. So like I'll stop and be like, all right, bro, I see you. You're mad cute. Let's do this. Let's take some pictures. So I got distracted, but I kind of want to comment on that. But I feel like if I do, it's gonna ruin that video. So I'm gonna refrain from that. From responding to that because it's gonna
all right, cool. All right, so we have another one, and it comes from Alexandria, and she says, do you think Ghost could be with Nymeria and the wolf pack? I'm not sure if you mean by the end of the story or now, or
well, we do
what
know
the situation is.
We do know that's where they are in the books. Nymeria, Ghost is the only one that will mount Nymeria. Ghost is not necessarily a part of her super pack, but they have interacted. So I think if the show is going for that, I think we were told that Ghost was like in Winterfell, right? Was he not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if
there was a deleted scene that Jon Snow tells Ghost like, take care of Winterfell and Sansa, but they just cut it out.
Yeah, because that famous line they love giving. Well, it was a budget issue. But yeah, and you did a video on that, right? You had mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can. If you want to, you can link that in the chat real quick. If you want to grab that, grab the link. You can drop it in the chat so everybody can go check it out.
I mentioned it, but I didn't do the video. Wasn't fully on it. It was on a Sansa deleted scene. But yeah, I just don't know. I don't think that. I think that they would end up together at some point. Maybe Ghost will be integrated into the pack or something. But I do believe that super pack of wolves will come into play in the upcoming season somehow. Why bring it up and why not show Ghost? You know what I mean? If you could have had one, I think Ghost would have been cheaper and would have been, like whatever. But we have more questions. We have a few more. So let's see.
Oh shit, we hit that like goal too. That's what's up. I see we're at 201 likes right now. That's what's up.
Leslie Powell says, is Arya going to go faceless man mode season 8 and take out major characters, Cersei, or probably even help Bran and Jon cure the Night King of the dragon glass indigestion? One, I don't think, Leslie, that was indigestion. That was, they shanked him with that dragon glass in the chest. What do you think, Mark?
So they're saying basically, is Arya going to be a faceless man and kill the Night King?
I think so.
Yeah, I've already answered that question. I think it was from the same person too, and I was like, no, no, I'm not like mocking that or anything, but I just don't see that happening at all. Arya,
I don't think that she could get that close to the Night King.
Exactly, and I don't even know if Jon would allow that. Like, obviously, he's gonna let them fight, but I think he's gonna basically leave them as like a last resort. Like, maybe she might go and join him in battle, but I honestly think that the only people from House Stark, other than maybe Bran, I think everyone's gonna be left back as like a last resort, and Jon and Dany are gonna be the ones that ride off into battle with the Dothraki, the Unsullied, and whatever Lannister troops Jaime can procure. But I don't think that Arya is going to be hands-on in the battle. She might be for the smaller battles. Like, maybe they'll have to fight a battle against Cersei and the Golden Company, and maybe Arya will have a part in that. But I see Arya killing some White Walkers. I just don't see Arya getting to the point where, Bran's going to have to isolate the Night King, and then that means Jon's going to have to get in close with Sandor. I'm sure Sandor, Gendry, obviously Brienne, they're all going to be part of, like, Jon Snow's little group in that final battle, and they're going to be moving their way towards the Night King, trying to get close to the White Walkers to take them out. And I think, it would be too risky to have Arya there. Although she may be. I would love to see Arya put on like a full suit of armor. God, that would be sick, dude. Can you imagine like a Brienne style armor set for Arya? What?
I mean, to be honest, I only think that Jon Snow should be able to kill. The
Night King can't be killed normally. But
I mean, if someone has to kill Jon Snow, I would prefer it be Jon Snow because of the whole stare down thing. And you don't stare down people like that and don't get them.
If someone has to kill the Night King,
if someone has to kill him, I would want it to be Jon. But that is the typical cliche: hero kills the villain thing, right? So if there is anybody else who I would want to kill the Night King, it would probably be Brienne or Arya. Like one of those two, I would be cool with them killing, the Night King. That's just me. Do you have anybody who you would want to see them kill the Night King?
I mean, it would be cool to see Arya do it if she were to do it. Which, like I said, I don't necessarily think so.
I don't think she'd do it, but I think that she would be one of the better characters to see.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to see if she was the one. I would like to see that the Catspaw dagger used, because I did a theory video on that where I was like, okay, the handle's made out of dragon bone. That's like the heart of a dragon, and then and then it's got dragon glass on the actual handle of it, which is like, obsidian from the heart of a volcano, and then the blade itself is Valyrian steel, which is made using dragon fire. So there's just too many elements. Yeah, it's like fire incarnate. So I'd love to see that dagger being used, and Arya's the one wielding it. So, I think the person who kills the Night King is going to be like a self-sacrifice kind of thing, so they're going to be going out with her. So I honestly, I would like to see Dany live, so that means I would like to see Jon kill the Night King, and, maybe he dies. Honestly, since Bran technically already died, it wouldn't be much to see the Blood Raven die again. So maybe Bran dies in trying to kill the Night King. But I just saw Matt had mentioned asking about the Faceless Men and Arya. Matt had super chatted that question a few weeks ago, and yes, you were right. I remember that now. You can super chat it again if you want to, brother. I'll answer it for the third time. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Did you have any? Did you have some more questions?
Yeah, we have 3 more questions here, and then I think I'm not sure if you want to continue after that, but we have one from Lola Dixie. Shout out to Lola Dixie. She's a sub of mine too. And Lola Dixie has a question that I really like this question because I remember once a long time ago they asked us. Like I remember we're thinking about it, and it is the Song of Ice and Fire a real song? Will we ever hear it? I kind of think Jon, Dany, and Jaime, etc., are just soldiers in the Great War. They are the instruments of a Song of Ice and Fire. What do you want to answer that? What are your thoughts on it?
I was about to say, isn't that a poem that Rhaegar used to read?
No, in the vision, in the House of the Undying, Daenerys sees a guy who looks like Viserys, which is Rhaegar, and they basically give the baby, which now in hindsight could be Jon Snow. Like it could.
Yeah, we all thought it was. We all thought it was the Aegon who got his head dashed. Yeah, Aegon.
No, but like, of course, in the books, it's Aegon.
Yeah,
but it could have been also a hint if in the books Jon Snow's name is Aegon for real. It could have been like a nod to show us like Jon Snow is Aegon ahead of time, because remember when Jon is born, Rhaegar is already dead, so he's not there to name him. But
yeah, and we all have a lot of problems with that, because we know that why would Rhaegar name 2 of his sons Aegon? But you have to remember that before Dan and Dave even started making the show, they met with George, and George asked them a question, and that's who's Jon Snow's parentage, and they got it right. So if they can guess something like that, you know, they obviously might. Obviously, George would allude to the fact that yes, in one of those things, because remember he said the journeys are going to be different, but the end game will be similar, so they're going to end the same way, basically. So if that's the case, one of the things that would make the end game similar is Jon Snow's true name, because not only is his parents a great debate on like who his true lineage is, but also what his name is. You know what I mean? What his Targaryen name is?
Like I think that basically, since the only time they will ever hear the Song of Ice and Fire is through that vision, and like it's like really sticks out to me, and it's basically Rhaegar referencing his son's song. I think that it's like, because when you really think about in Game of Thrones and specifically in the books, you hear the word song a lot. It's either reference to like battle and like events and history and like storytelling, right? So the way I've always seen the word song is like the story of Ice and Fire. You know what I mean? And basically, that's the way I've always interpreted it. I never really thought of it as like an actual song that we're going to hear. You have a super chat from MZ.
Yeah, I see, because I mentioned that, and then he did it. He was like, here you go, man. He knows I'm broke, and I'm like having trouble with my car right now. That's what's up. Thank you, sir. Matt Z, thank you for that super chat. And he goes, will Arya kill the Night King with a White Walker face on it? Actually, that's a little bit different. Well, no, that's what his question was, but that's not similar to what the other person had said. So yeah, that's what's up. I don't know if she would be able to get a White Walker's face, but that would be fucking epic. Honestly, I want to see Bran. I had mentioned this, dude. I think I mentioned this in one of the first live streams we did after season 6 had started. We in one of those live streams. It doesn't matter, but I had mentioned that I would like to see Bran warging packs of whites to help like diverge them, to get them out of the way so that Jon can get to the Night King. And I still think that holds some semblance. We see that Bran can warg more than one of those crows at once. So who's to say, you know, in this break we're given, Bran's powers are not like doubling in tenfold. I like to think that, you know, I questioned immediately. I was like, dude, why the fuck did Bran not have a bigger hand? And excuse my language, but why did Bran not have a bigger hand in Beyond the Wall? He could have told Daenerys himself. You know what I mean? Like, Gendry didn't have to run back and send a Raven. Like, Bran should have been watching, but Bran was watching. Bran sent Blood Raven. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, not Blood Raven. Bran is Blood Raven. Bran sent Benjen. Benjen wouldn't have showed up if, you know, Bran hadn't summoned him. So, like, he did have a kind of hand up, huh?
Like, the way I see it, at the end of the day, Bran has been extremely underused this season. Like, he could have done so much more to the story, develop. But again, we're always going to end up back at the same thing, that it's like they haven't really developed the characters because they're kind of rushing the whole story. But we have another question. This is a very popular topic that has been trending recently, and it comes from Owen Harris and it says, is Bran the Night King?
I don't think so. I've actually, you know what? I'm going to defer the question. I'm going to say check the link down below in the description. One of my most recent videos called Did Tormund Escape Eastwatch, I actually give all my thoughts about Bran being the Night King in that video. So go check that video out after you watch this here, and then that'll give you my thoughts on that. But what do you think, Ray?
I have said in previous videos some of my thoughts on my channel, and I do have a video, so I don't want to give too much away. But I do not believe that Bran is the Night King. I do believe that there is a connection, and Bran is key to destroying him. So, like, I like to reference, and I've said this in previous videos, and I'll say it here, is that I believe that if you guys have seen Harry Potter, I believe that there's a similar link.
Yeah,
from
the boy
Harry
who
and
lived.
Voldemort.
Yeah. Oh, don't you bring up Harry Potter, bro? That's like my second favorite fandom.
I think that Harry Potter and Voldemort basically have like this link, and that's what I think is happening with Bran and the Night King. I won't go much into it because again, I don't want to, you know.
Yeah, and
I have this epic video that I have planned out, but again,
yeah, and it can be argued that the same contrast and parallel exists between the dragons and the Night King. You know, like you have evil magic and good magic, fire magic and ice magic. You can't have one without the other. So if the Night King dies, the dragons have to die. You know what I mean?
Yo, you got another donation from MZ.
Really?
Yeah. A $10 donation.
Jeez. Matt, killing it. You killing it, bro. I appreciate that. All of it's going towards the car. Sir Hunt's truck fund. Sorry, go ahead.
He says, will Arya ghost Nymeria parachute in off of a warg dragon. Oh my god.
Wearing a helmet.
Wearing
They
a
made
helmet.
a brand. They made Bran a wheelchair. They could make him.
Definitely, that is definitely happening in the upcoming season.
Dude, the parachute will be made out of a Stark banner, like a Stark Targaryen banner. What'd you say?
It's gonna have a wolf on it.
Yeah, and like the Targaryen banner too. Like just have to have. Like she's like, I'm working for Jon Snow.
It's gonna have a bumper sticker that says a Stark was here.
That's hilarious. God, that would be like the best scene ever. They just somehow, like we have all these modern looking wheelchairs. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a certain part where you can see that Bran's wheelchair actually has those brakes on it. You know, those brakes that they use to stop the wheel? Like, yeah, like, in a wheelchair where you like sit down.
I know.
Yeah, that it looks like there's like little pieces of wood that are used for that. So not only is it super modern, but it's also like, it has all the like modern ones, like all the shit that a modern wheelchair would do. And this is funny because I actually saw a George interview where he was saying that most of Game of Thrones comes from medieval times. Their medicine and stuff is also way more advanced, and he said he wanted them to kind of have more of a advanced than just like the medieval time period. He said their medicine is more closer to, I'm not sure what the exact name of the historical period in time it's from, but I think it's more of like the Victorian era. So it's like they're discovering, bacterial infections and how to treat that and stuff like that. So it's right on the verge of that. So that way, there might be more of a chance of characters surviving and having more mystery and stuff. But honestly, I agree with Preston Jacobs where it's like you have modern day politics mixed in with medieval themery, but you also have like the Dark Ages, you know what I mean? And also like, it's just crazy. It's like a super mix of everything. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's hard to tell. Hard to try to pick exactly where technology and modern science goes. But yeah,
you want to continue?
No, I was just saying because you have something like sterilization. Like we have with Qyburn sterilizing Jaime's hand. With the boiling wine. Like that's like not. If I'm not mistaken, that's like not till the 1700s or something when they discovered that. Like the sterilization techniques for. I think it was they would take off body parts. Oh man, I'm going down history rabbit hole here, but I think it was like the Civil War or something. They would like cauterize the wounds from like gunshot blasts. They would do it right there. They would cut off the limb and then cauterize it with like fire. So that kind of comes with that sterilization.
Medicine was basically a lot of trial and error.
Exactly, and a lot of pain.
Yes. So we have let me see 3 more questions here, and this one comes from Hi, I'm Allison, and she says, do either of you think the living will lose, and like how Bran had to become the three-eyed raven, Jon will have to become the Night King and be the villain / hero of his story?
Okay, I'm sorry. Read that question one more time.
All right, so there's basically like 2 parts to this. She says, if either of us believe that the living will lose, if there's any chance, and do you think that Jon will have to take the Night King's place, just similar to how Bran had to take the three-eyed ravens?
Okay, so let me answer that first part first. No, I don't think so. I think that once the Night King dies, he's dead, and like that's pretty much there is to it. I don't think that anyone will have to take his place. I think that he'll take the life of the person that kills him. So that'll be the bittersweet. Like, yeah, we don't have to worry about this evil dude walking around necromancing everyone, but also he lost a main character and losing, the Night King. So I think there's the bittersweet moment with that. So I don't think that Jon has to replace him as the Night King. And then the first part of that question was, refresh me.
No, if they'll ever lose.
Well, yeah, definitely, because it depends on how you look at it. It's like everyone's going to be dead. There's only a few people left alive, so yes, they lost. But then ultimately, there's still some people left alive to carry along to the living. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, this is one of those things that I have like a full script for this specific topic of Jon Snow in particular and Bran in them. I think that the living will not lose, because if the living were to lose, why didn't you end it right after the Red Wedding? This story, it makes no sense. But when it comes to Jon, I think that the bittersweet ending is going to be that every character gets what they want, but at the end of the story, it's not what they wanted. Maybe when they die, or what it is. Like they wanted what, like for example, we always hear that Jon Snow in the books looks up to, like, when in the books, in the Game of Thrones specifically, we see that Jon Snow sees Robert and he judges Robert because Robert is like fat. He's not like this hero who he always envisioned and heard songs and stories of, right? And then you see that Jaime is this like knight, and he's like, that's what a king should look like. Like, that's who, you know, that's how Robert should look. And he has like this image, and he looks up to these people, and he looks up to Aemon the Dragon Knight, and he looks up to all these heroes. I think that it is so fitting that Jon die to protect maybe like family, loved ones, and the world. So I do think that like Jon Snow will die. I just don't think that he will probably have to replace like the Night King, because it's like 2 Pirates of the Caribbean for me. Like, you know what I mean? You remember Pirates of the Caribbean 3?
Mm-hmm.
He has to take the place of the Squid Dude. So I just think it's
Will Turner.
Yeah.
That's an interesting that's an interesting reference, right?
No, but
You've been watching Pirates of the Caribbean recently?
I haven't seen the last one, but you know, I probably have to get around to seeing it. But it goes in hand with this question somebody just asked, and let's just throw it out there too. Do you think, as a bittersweet ending, do you think Dany will die? I think Dany is too obvious. Everybody is waiting for Dany to die. That's why I think Jon is going to die. And what do you think? Do you think that Dany's dying?
Honestly, I think that one of them has to die, if not both of them. I don't, you know, I'm going to be biased. You ask me any question about Daenerys and like the fate of her, or if I think she's evil, or if I think she was being too mean, I'm going to be biased. I don't think that she will necessarily die, but you know, it's kind of, I feel like how you do with Daenerys. You think it's obvious that she's going to die, so you think it would be too obvious to do that. But see, I think that way with Jon Snow, because he's already died, so people would be thinking that he's not going to die again, or he can't die again, and then because of that, he's going to die. I don't know, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I do believe that tends to happen with us, and that like you got another donation from MZ.
Oh shit, Matt, you killing it, bro. You're killing it, Zach. Matt, Zach, you killing it. Thank you, Matt. And he says, could every dragon die but Dany actually have a baby? Bittersweet. Yes, I definitely think that the loss of Viserion made it possible, the loss of Viserion made it possible for her to bring new life. I do think that it would be more substantial if she has to lose every single one of her previous children to gain another one. Although the same can be said with Cersei. Cersei had to lose all 3 of her golden crowned children before she's blessed with another one. At least she says she's pregnant, you know? What do you think about that?
And shout out to Ann Bolin, it does it too, because she asked that same question. I was going to get to that. She had also asked if Dany was going to be pregnant by Jon. I do believe that she will have a baby. I think that the baby is like basically the hope or the upside of the story. Like, there's hope, there's a dawn, there's a tomorrow, because the baby is born. That's why I think Jon is going to die. Like, Jon has to die. Like, to me, it's more fitting if Jon dies than Daenerys dying. You know what I mean? Yo, I don't know who MZ is, but MZ is balling. another donation.
I saw that. Thank you, Matt. Zach. He says, so you finished did you finish up answering that last one?
What you call it? Like I said, I just think that Daenerys is the more apparent one, that she might die. So I think that, like you said, we're at that dilemma. I think that she seems like too obvious. So, you know, I think that Jon should be the one to die for his family. It's more in his character. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to figure out where the fuck this damn mariachi music is coming from. That is insane. It literally sounds like someone's playing it in my room, dude. I'm in the office, and it's coming from nowhere. And, like, I don't mind mariachi music, but it's kind of late. It's like 9 o'clock. You can't make noise past 9. Actually, I think it's 10 because it's Friday. Anyway, that is extremely fucking distracting. But we got another super chat from the boy, Matt Z. And he says, could Tyrion find his own dragon egg? Well, if Lady Alysanne Targaryen left a clutch of those underneath Winterfell like she supposedly did, I definitely think with Tyrion being headed there, he may find one. I think that Tyrion may go searching underneath the Crypts of Winterfell, and he may bring up the fact that, oh, hey, you know, there was this Valyrian steel sword just laying down here, or hey, look, there's this, you know, such and such over here. Like, honestly, it's in Tyrion's nature to want to look for stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe we'll get some crypt underneath Winterfell action with him. What do you think?
I mean, I just don't think that anybody is going to be in the crypts not named Snow or Stark. The only person may be Daenerys.
Well, John's name technically is Targaryen.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, Jon Snow or what you call it. But like Jon, yeah, he's Aegon. I guess Targaryen or Stark will be in the crypts. But besides that,
you don't think anyone else will be down there?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't.
Well,
I definitely.
Well, technically, Tyrion's a secret Targaryen.
Yeah, that to me, that's dead.
Yeah, I agree. Although, the new thing is people started combating my logic with, well, it has to be Cersei and Jaime because they're older. Tyrion was born multiple years after that, and supposedly the betting happened on their wedding night, and Cersei and Jaime were born first, so it doesn't make sense that Tyrion is. But the new combative argument to that is people saying, well, technically Ares could have visited Casterly Rock right before Tyrion was born, and I'm like, where's this coming from? Like, people are discovering new shit all the time. That's what makes Game of Thrones awesome. Speaking of which, we are going to do one more question, and then we are going to be peacing out because we have crossed over that 2-hour mark, and we have been rocking with y'all, and y'all have been rocking with us. So, Ray, did you have any?
Yeah, one more, and this one I think is a very asked question. I've heard this one before, but this one is basically Q&A. It comes from Alexandria. Again, I'm not gonna put your last name, but George did a super chat too, but now I'm like divided. Wait, let me write what he said.
We'll answer George's too. Just go ahead and finish reading the one.
Yeah. Basically,
you, George, by the way.
Alexandria says, why doesn't anyone suggest armor for Dany or her dragon? Seriously, they foreshadowed her dying so many times this past season. How has it not come up once? It's frustrating. Will all the dead in the crypts rise up? Can Bran raise the dead? I guess that's two questions. I think he can, or will he be able to move the end?
Is that from Alexandria Gaither?
Yeah.
That's how she does it. She always slips in 7 questions in one. So real quick, I'll let you take that one from her, but I do want to thank you, George. Thank you so much for that super chat. We'll be getting into your question into a second. But Ray, I'll let you take that question from Alexandria.
So I'll answer that one. I'll answer each one of them in a quick. Why doesn't anyone suggest armor for Dany? Because one, I would imagine dragon armor is hella hard to make.
Yeah.
Hella difficult to probably even put that on Drogon, because Drogon would not let anybody probably get near him to do it. Seriously, they foreshadowed her death dying so many times in the past. How has that not come up once? Because D&D are rushing it. And yes, it's extremely frustrating to see. Can Bran rise the dead in the Crypts of Winterfell? I do not believe that he can. I think he could if he wanted to. I think that basically Bran and the Night King are like both green seers. I just think that the Night King has had thousands of years to practice, where Bran hasn't, and he's kind of winging it. But yeah, there you go.
Nice, dude. Nice. So yeah, I think the main reason is just because it would be like too much plot armor. Like, she already has a plot armor of being a main character. She doesn't need actual physical armor, but she will going into this last season. I honestly
agree with George though.
Yeah, like I don't know why. We saw Drogon get shot in the shoulder, and then Viserion got killed in the exact same spot. Why would you not, at the very least, want to put armor? You know what I mean? So wait, you read George's question? It kind of sounded like
no. I did.
No, they had a similar question about Bran raising the dead. But I'll go ahead and read.
But George said another question, and he said, "Dragon armor. Why not a freaking saddle?" That's true, man. Yo, she needs a freaking seat. Well, look, I don't get it.
See, here's the thing, though. Dragon. I think if Jon rides Rhaegal, he'll need a saddle. Okay, Daenerys, from personal experience, Emilia Clarke is very good at riding things. Very good.
Oh my god.
and I don't know about you guys, but I am intrigued. This made me think of the Westworld scene where we had Dolores riding her horse, very sexualized, shooting that rifle. Bro, did you watch Westworld? Like, you watch Westworld, right?
I love Westworld.
Okay, so in that season 2 trailer, she's shown riding her horse, and she just, oh man, I was like, oh my god, I had to go research some things after watching that scene. I was like, Jesus Christ. But no, that's why Daenerys doesn't need a saddle. She's more of like a, you know, dragons can ride dragons. But let me go ahead and answer George's chat because I saw we got another super chat. Let's see, this is from George Sartiano. Make sure you go follow him on Twitter and subscribe to him. He has a YouTube channel here. He does Funko Pop setups. And he's also on Azor Hype's channel. Make sure you go subscribe to Azor Hype's channel as well. But he says, will all the dead in the crypts rise up? Can Bran raise the dead? I think he can or will be able to by the end. See, I think Bran's magic is interesting because it's a mix of fire and of ice. Like, he's got the old god magic, but he also has a little bit of fire magic because we know fire magic is supposed to be the good magic. You know what I mean? Like, ice magic is supposed to be evil. Everything that's associated with it, the Night King and all that, they're all evil. So I don't know if he can raise the dead per se, but I do think he can stop someone from fully becoming under the Night King's power. So let's say, shit. I don't even know how to really give an example, but let's just say, you know, if the same thing happened with Jon, where Jon had been killed and he's getting ready to be turned into a White Walker. If Bran was there and he intervened, he could save Jon that same way. So it can almost be argued that he raises the dead because Jon was dead and about to be turned into a white, but then Bran saved him by using the dragon glass trick. But I don't know if he can raise the dead because I always associate that with necromancy, and that's like the dark arts, dark magic, evil. You know what I mean? I do think it's possible for, you know, the dead that lie underneath Winterfell to be raised. The question is how would that happen? Like, would the Night King have to physically be down there? Would another White Walker have to get down there? And then also, what would be the motivation of them getting down there? I do think that, you know, it would be nice to see something like that. That could be a call out to the Bible in Revelations where they talk about the dead shall walk the earth, you know? That would be cool to see because we already kind of see that anyway. We just see, like, anyone who's died recently that's been buried, or like people that are buried outside the anyone who lost soldiers during that last battle, like the Battle of the Bastards, if they bring all of them back. So if we get one brought back, I know they burned them, but I'm just saying, you know, that would be cool to see. And once again, thank you for that super chat, George. What'd you say, man?
No, I was going to say, I remember, I think it was once, I'm not sure, I think it was with George and with Kyle, we were talking about even like the name Winterfell, like how Winterfell is, it's a weird name in the crypts. There is something very interesting down there that, like, it's just like it sticks out so much. You just feel like that something is down there, and especially since Jon has like those dreams in the books that like he doesn't belong there. Exactly,
he gets because he feels like the Kings of Winter are gonna get him or whatever, right?
Yeah, so like it's just interesting that he feels that, and he's half Stark. So if he feels that and he's having these dreams, what if like the Night King were to go down there? Like, would that like force the statues to move like in Harry Potter again? I don't know. Tune in next week. I don't know.
Yeah, before I forget, thank you, Joey B. We got a super chat from Joey B, and he says, "New truck fund, carry on." I like that. Thank you, sir. I'm trying to get like a 2001 Dodge Ram 1500. Like, you know, the Toyota that me and my girlfriend has, like, we were able to get that fixed. We got the battery replaced, but it's still having issues. So, like, you know, we just figure it's best to go ahead and get something while it happens. And like the last winter, we weren't prepared. Like, we both had to miss work because we didn't have a vehicle to get through the snow. So we're not trying to have that happen this year. But thank you for that, Joey. And then I want to I know we have one more question, but I also want to answer this question real quick from Flores Blurta. She's a big time supporter. She's always commenting, she's always liking my tweets, she's always retweeting stuff, she's always commenting on the videos. So I want to answer her question. Thank you for joining us. I know it's hard for you to catch these because of the timing issue and like where you live at and stuff, but thank you. She says, Q&A, can Bran warg dead bodies since they don't have a mind to be controlled? So basically, since they have like no brain activity, could he warg a white? Definitely. Ray, what do you think?
I think he probably could be capable of it. I don't think he could do it, if that makes sense. I think he's capable of many of things. But you don't think he'll want to do it? Why don't you think he'll do it? I don't think he has the knowledge of how to do it. Oh. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think he could be capable of doing that, but I just don't, because like the way it just seems with the show, it seems like he has the ability to do certain things, but he just doesn't know how to use it. That dude with that motorcycle, oh my God. I've been telling Mark about this for hours. This guy bought a motorcycle around my house, and he's so loud and noisy. Jesus, take the wheel. No, but like I was saying, I just think that he doesn't have like the knowledge of maybe how to do it. Like, because you could do a lot of things, you know what I mean? But you have to probably go through the training. And we saw that Bloodraven wasn't able to teach him everything right away. Because I do believe that, like I said, Bran and the Night King are both green seers. I I don't know. There's something there. Just a feeling, a hunch.
Yeah, you know, what'd be interesting is like if we, if Bran hadn't have gotten himself marked and he was still in that cave, how powerful he would have been had he had somewhat finished his training. Like, how long would it have taken for the White Walkers to start marching down south? You know what I mean? If that hadn't have happened. Honestly, that was the one catalyst that we needed to kick things off at the beginning of season 7. But, you know, it's just crazy. Like, all the what ifs that can happen if certain things don't go down, you know?
But we have one more question, and this one is just, you know, so we can put in the topic. I wanted to ask this one. It comes from Peter the Noble, and he says, "Yo, Mark, you ready for Irma?"
I saw that.
It's hitting North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm actually worried about my dad more. It's not supposed to hit us until like Monday, but I know my dad's in Florida, and I know all of y'all watching are in Florida. But I used to live in Florida, so I'm aware of the hurricane parties that we be throwing down there. And all the beer and stuff, but just be careful because this is supposed to be like the greatest hurricane. I don't even want to say greatest like it's a good thing, but the biggest hurricane in history. So, you know.
Yeah, just everyone be careful. If they tell you to evacuate,
grab water. Like I grabbed like 6 cases of water. Fill your bathtubs up. Like be ready. I know y'all aren't gonna get it up there in New York, but I know you probably, you know, you're from Dominican Republic, so I know you know.
My mom is on vacation in Dominican Republic, and my grandmother, my father. No, but it already passed over there. Just like, you know, a lot of water. She told me over there, but you know, if anything, people, if you know, they tell you to evacuate. I understand some people feel safe with certain situations, but you know, just keep safe and you know, much love from I know from me and Mark because. Looks crazy.
Yeah, it does. Like I heard Cuba is getting it really bad. Or I actually need to see where in Cuba was. All right, cool. So we've been running this for, let's see, 2 hours and 15 minutes. All right, so that's gonna be wrapping up episode 1. Ray, do you want to tell everybody real quick where they can find you at, sir?
Well, you guys could definitely find me at Rayz De Alba. I have some awesome videos coming up. And, you know, I'm just really excited because we do have a long night. But, you know, it's been a long time. I haven't done a video with Mark. You know, it was cool coming on. Thanks for having me. You can find my channel in the link down below. I'll put my link in the chat also so you guys can check it out. It's at Rayz De Alba. You can follow me on Twitter, also at Rayz Alba, and on Facebook. I'll put the link in the chat, guys. And thanks again, Mark, for having me.
No doubt, bro. Yeah, there's also a link down below in the description. So those of you that are watching this after this is live, you can check the link down below in the description, and that'll take you straight to his channel. I want to thank you all so much for watching. We hit that like goal of 200. Now that this is ending, let's see if we can hit a like goal of, I don't know, maybe 300. For all of you that come back and watch this later, I want to thank all the mods, all of the wrenchers for holding it down in the chat. You guys are awesome for that. I do appreciate it so much. I want to thank all of y'all for hanging out with us and joining us. You know, this podcast that we're doing, this format is called, you know, after, oh, I forgot the name of the damn podcast. It's called With That Being Said. So there will be more of these coming. I'm going to have Rayz on again, I'm sure, if he's willing to come on. I'm also going to have, a few other Game of Thrones YouTubers, as well as, you know, some of my friends talking about some other content in Game of Thrones, because yes, they're, you know, we have a long way to go. So we need to also be entertained and informed on these leaks, but we also need to, you know, find some other interesting stuffs like that. So yeah, if you're watching this later, write down in the comments some content that you'd be interested in hearing us talking to on this here podcast. I want to thank you all again so much for watching, and if you would like to enter my contest for once we reach 30,000 subscribers and you can win a lovely Funko Mystery Pop Game of Thrones figure, all you have to do to enter that contest is like this video, leave a comment down below, subscribe, and then hop on Twitter and follow me. My name is Mark, and I want to thank Ray so much for joining us. Make sure you go check out and subscribe to his channel. This has been With That Being Said.